Three, two, one, boom, we're live. We're finally live. We were supposed to start 6 minutes ago. I hate myself, though. Yeah. What's up? Shenanigans Festival, episode 3 with Mr. DulleInTheHead. How you doing, good sir? I'm doing swell. I just woke up like 2 hours ago. And then I had basically like, have you ever heard of bulletproof coffee? Yeah, so it's supposed to be a coffee that's essentially supposed to help improve your cognitive function because like you're mixing it with like MCT oil. Like MCT oil is like an amazing like healthy fat. It's kind of like coconut oil, and just like those fats just kind of like, what are you doing with your mouth? You're distracting me, man. Come on. Oh yeah. Phoenix Stowe's in the chat. What's going on, man? Anyway, back to my train of thought. It's not really like legit bulletproof coffee because I'm missing some ingredients. I just added, this thing for bulletproof called brain octane oil, which is basically an MCT oil. Like it's a fat oil that's supposed to help, improve your cognitive function. And it's supposed to help, like burn fat as a source of energy, which is really what the whole like ketogenic diet is about, like what we were talking about. To be perfectly honest, I don't think I really understand what I was talking about either. Yeah. Right? Let's see here. What is going on with my desktop audio? I don't think stream is able to hear you at all. Say some words, doll. How's it? Dropping some sweet emotes. All right, that's a problem. They need to be able to hear you. Papa, can you hear me? Let's see. Speakers. There we go. Now try saying some words.
We're good?
Yes, we're good.
There
Oh my
we
god.
go.
Scuffed podcast. Except that title's already taken. Thanks a lot, Trainwrecks.
Moderately
yeah.
less scuffed podcast.
But yeah, bulletproof coffee and then like brain octane oil from bulletproof. It's basically like a nootropic almost, so it helps improve your cognitive function. I feel awake and I feel super intelligent right now. It's awesome.
You got me beat.
Super intelligent, right?
No way I can compete with that. I am but a simple dinosaur today.
Right. You are a simple dinosaur. I always had the hunch that you weren't actually a human being. That you were a dinosaur or some other
reptile overlords.
Can we please see your super rare, awesome?
Yeah, like some sort of like
a
just like highly advanced alien that's just like so far removed from like everybody else. Like you're basically like the alpha male almost.
I wish.
The alpha.
I'm pretty sure if anything, I'm the
Right.
beta.
Mhm.
Or the omega. I'm the end.
Yeah,
I'm the bottom
I don't
of
know
the line.
about that. Well, is it really bad to be an omega though? Is that inherently bad? Like if like the Greek alphabet is like a ranking system, like alpha was the best, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know.
I mean,
What if it was
in the end? Usually you want to be first for things.
Mhm.
Not a lot of things you want to be the last person for.
What if you want to be like God and be both? The alpha
Sure.
to the omega. Alpha and omega. Dull the alpha omega. Oh man.
Oh God, please no. Dull equals alpha. Dull
Please
equals
don't.
alpha,
Please
omega.
don't. Yeah.
Please nerf.
Yeah. So I've seen you like stream like a ton of Battlefield content as of late. Is Monster Hunter just kind of like done and over with, or what?
It's funny you ask. I've been kind of considering going back towards it, but it'll be a long ways out. I think I'm gonna wait until Iceborne.
Mhm.
The DLC looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to a new map, looking for new monsters, new challenges, hopefully. But honestly, it was a fun game, but I got really burnt out on it. I was playing like 18 hours of Monster Hunter World on stream a week.
That's how you get burnt out.
Yeah, I did 18 hours of that, and then I did probably about 20 hours of grinding outside of the stream, trying to make sure that I was ready to do hunts with everyone and have all the supplies I need. So I just really learned to hate that game.
God, man. I wish I could still do that. Like, if I could travel back in time when I was 15 years old. Like, actually, no, not 15. I think it was like 13 and 14 when I was speedrunning Streets of Rage 2. And I would just, like, every day after school, I would go back and I would just, like, do runs and try to figure out that game. And Phoenix, thanks for the follow, my dude. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Duelist Kingdom, my man. Anyway. But yeah, it was Streets of Rage 2. That was, like, the first game that I've, like, because, like, throughout my entire life, like, I was pretty bad at video games, like, just in general. But, like, Streets of Rage 2 was, like, the one game where I actually, like, sat down and it felt like I figured out. Like, when you go to Speedruns Live and you look up Streets of Rage 2 on, like, the top race times, I'm pretty sure, like, my old username is still in the top 10.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right?
I've never been that good at a video game ever.
Yeah,
No matter
neither
what
have
play,
I.
I've never been good enough for like speed running or
Mhm.
even just like skill leaderboards, anything like that. No,
Yeah,
no one has ever heard me.
yeah, neither have I until I started speedrunning Streets of Rage 2. And then I like gave that up because I was bored and I just wanted to play Destiny. So I like started streaming again and playing Destiny. And then Destiny, I was just kind of like, this game kind of sucks. So I started playing Ark, and then I realized this game is fun, but it's too much of a grind. Like you could like work super hard for like months just for like one thing, and then lose that one thing like the very next day and have to start all the way over again. And I'm just like,
I
nope,
definitely know that feeling.
right? God,
I
Ark was so.
played my fair share of Ark.
Mhm. Even on unofficial servers, it's still a huge grind. What's going on out there?
You know, riots in the street, no big deal.
Right.
Blood in the streets,
Right.
anarchy, new revolution.
Mhm. Aren't you in Virginia?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. Okay, that explains everything. No, I'm
We're
just
the
kidding.
redneck portion of Virginia.
The redneck portion of Virginia. I've actually never been that far out east.
Good call.
Never. I think the farthest out east I've been is either like Kentucky or Louisiana. Actually, I think
Okay.
Kentucky and Tennessee are like way further out than Louisiana. But yeah, Nashville. I love Nashville. Love me some Nashville. And I've actually been to the Opry too, but we cheated.
Wow.
We just walked into the gift shop and just walked around just because the tours were super expensive. So we just walked around the gift shop and just like peered around, and then we jetted right out of there. Now we could say that we were in the Opry because we were physically in the building.
It's true. Can't argue that.
Can't argue that.
We
at
actually,
all.
I did that with back when I worked in New Mexico, where I met Ray. I actually did a cross country trip with a good friend of mine, and there was a lot of places where it was like, hurry up. We would hop out of the car, we would take a piss somewhere, and we were like, we've been to Nebraska, and then we just get back in the car and go. Like that was our experience of several states. Like, oh yeah, I've been there. It's a great place. Really, what do you know about it? The Dairy Queen bathroom was very clean. The roads, not a lot of potholes.
Right.
That's about all I know.
God, that's how it was when I went to Colorado. Because, like, I've driven through, like, Denver, I've driven through Dallas, I've driven through St. Louis, but I never stopped there because I'm smart. But, like, I could say I've been to those places because I've physically been in those places, even though I've never
Sure.
stopped and, like, done anything. I wish I could have did something in Dallas. Or, like, probably something in Denver, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Denver's a cool place. Like, driving by Bronco Stadium is, like, pretty awesome because the architecture, just kind of, like, the wonky architecture is pretty interesting.
I've actually been in the Broncos Stadium.
Mhm.
Pretty nice place.
Have you? I am
Did
jealous.
a lot of traveling when I was younger. I'm pretty boring now, but I've done a lot of traveling.
I've done a lot of traveling too, but I've never been on a plane. It was always just kind of like road tripping.
Wow.
Then again, road tripping is a lot of fun too, but it's just like you're driving for like a lot of hours.
Oh yeah. I'm just impressed you've traveled without having to do plane ever.
Well, it's because my parents are like terrified of flying. And I was just kind of like, okay, we could just travel on the road. That's fine. But I mean,
Yeah.
like you get to see like a ton of like really, really cool stuff just by road tripping.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Shoot, what's one
Have you ever
story
done a
I have?
train then?
Oh, I've done train.
Train, okay.
Yeah, trains are
I
fun.
don't know, train, planes, automobiles. I was concerned you were missing more of your checkoff list.
Right. I've just never done a bus, like a city bus. I refuse to do that.
It's fair.
I
They're not a
absolutely
good
refuse to do that.
experience.
No. No. You just like walk into the bus, and then there's one dude in the back who has an iPad who's like masturbating, and he's like trying to hide it. And then you have like one dude who's just kind of like, he looks like super sick. The other guy looks high as a kite. And the other person's like carrying a piece on him. It's just kind of like, fuck, why am I doing this? No, thank you.
You've already been on a city bus, whether or not you want to admit it.
I've never been on a city bus, but I've heard all the stories, and I rode the school bus for years and years, and I'm just kind of like, if the city bus is anything like the school bus, no thank you.
Man, it sounds like you went to a rough school.
It wasn't really a rough school. It was just kind of like, it was actually a really small town that I went to.
Okay.
A really, really small town in North Dakota. And then I moved to Montana, about like 6 years ago, like my freshman year of high school. And then, which Montana was actually a lot better than North Dakota, in my opinion, just because there's mountains and pretty scenery. I mean, it's still got its
North Dakota
cons.
doesn't have shit.
North Dakota doesn't have anything except for
That was
the
part of
oil
my
industry.
trip, and I that was part of my trip, and I remember like, wow, there's just this road and dirt.
Yeah.
In
North
all directions.
Oh yeah, at least you could see the horizon. So if there's like a super moon going on, like you could see that rising.
That's
It's just
true.
like super cool. But I don't know. When you get to like the northwest corner, I mean, it's just like there isn't really mountains, but there are some like rolling hills and stuff like that. So it's not like totally flat until you get past that. Then it's just like uber flat.
Yeah, the part
like-
I was at was definitely uber flat.
Yeah, it's like that. I feel like Nebraska is actually flatter.
Nebraska at least has corn. Makes it moderately more interesting for being flat.
I thought it was Kansas that had corn.
Nebraska definitely has a lot of corn too.
Jeez.
At least the parts I went to. Cornfields in every direction.
Man, what did North Dakota have? Wheat and I think oil. And like that's it. Mostly oil. You make a little bit more money with the oil.
I just remember a giant highway and then nothing on either side, which from being from New Jersey, we're used to town centers everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we drove like 100 miles and then we saw a diner.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first thing we saw. I was like, oh, civilization is here. It's just
right. Right. It was the exact opposite with me, just like going and like spending time in an urban area. Like you would technically be in like one city and then you would like drive you drive a little further and then all of a sudden you're in another city. Like I'm so used to like wide open spaces in between cities. Like that was like when I went to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. There's kind of like some like little suburbs there too. So like you're in Elizabethtown and then you like go somewhere else and then like you're in this other place and then like you're in this other place and then all of a sudden you're in Louisville and there's just like no like wide space for what I know. Right? He doesn't hear me. He lived in Elizabethtown, Kentucky for like a year and a half.
Oh, that's cool.
But he's in the middle of a phone call now. He can't hear a word I'm saying. Feels
He's
bad,
in the
man.
game.
He is in the game. In the game of speaking to another human being like we are, except we're broadcasting our conversation on the internet for people's entertainment.
I don't know if that makes us better or worse, though, is the question.
Well, we have the potential to make money off of this, so I think that makes us better, just inherently.
There we go.
Yep.
He could be doing the business transaction right now, though. He could be making the big bucks, whereas we're just making the chump change.
I know my brother, he ain't doing that. He is not doing that at all. Even though he has done that. He's just like, oh my gosh, Brady. And I was just like, yep, that's what I do. I am an emotional terrorist. I exist to make people's lives just that much more miserable.
Aw. What a nice brother.
Yeah, I am a nice brother. Normally it's the older brother that's picking on the younger brother. And with us, it's the exact opposite. It's great. Nah, man, it's all good fun. It's all good fun. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, you were wanting to get back into Monster Hunter. I never did buy Monster Hunter. I really wanted to play it super bad, but never did get into it.
It's fun, but you have to be ready for like the controls are kind of a nightmare at first.
Mm-hmm.
My best example would be because almost everyone's played it. If you play Dark Souls, kind of how like wonky the controls are when you first start off, and then by the end you're like, oh, this all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Monster Hunter World's a lot of the same. That's
kind of true with every game though that has like when you're like playing a game for the first time that has a control scheme you're not used to. It's just kind of like, oh, what's this? And then over time you get used to that. That's like with pretty much like anything else in life, really.
I think I play a lot of shooters, so for me, like Y is usually change gun, right trigger is usually shoot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, same here. Same here. Shoot, like, I never did buy Monster Hunter, even though like I was a big Destiny guy at the time, and I was kind of like looking for another game to play, just because like Destiny 2 was just kind of like in this little slump. Year 1 Destiny 2 was awful, endgame wise. There was like nothing to do, and I was just kind of like, shoot, what else can I play? Yeah. And then like it was like the progression system seemed so interesting because you could actually like work towards like specific skills like with your armor sets.
Oh, that's awesome.
No, not for isn't that true with Monster Hunter? Like you can work towards like a specific talent?
Monster Hunter World has more like attributes, so it usually improves something, but it doesn't give you like a specific ability.
Okay.
Usually it's your weapon that does the abilities. So like if you're using a switch axe, it'll have a lot of different combos using the axe, but it's more about the armor that'll make it like, oh, it'll hit more, recharge faster, or it'll swap. Like a lot of that changes, but it's not necessarily the armor. It's even more so the weapon about which one you're using.
So you could do that with weapons, just not so much with armor?
Yeah. Like armor usually like you could do like a health boost, you could do damage boost, you could do like let you sprint longer, like that does little stuff like that, but usually like a whole different moveset comes from using a hammer versus using like a hunting horn or using a insect glaive or anything like that. Like your movesets change up depending on the weapon.
That's cool. Yeah, I did not know that. It's a funny thing about RPGs. You're able to do really cool stuff like that. Just be like,
really
I want to be built like a
it's a lot of
tank.
fun.
I want to be built like a ninja. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wish I
Yeah,
would have got into
definitely.
it. I guess it's not really too late. I've just been playing nothing but... Yeah, I've just been playing nothing but Overwatch now. Just because I'm, like, super invested to, like, the competitive scene and, like, the community.
I've played Overwatch for one weekend on one of the free weekends, and I got absolutely curb stomped, and I've never looked back. Got absolutely floored, brought to tears, basically. And I was just like, all right, no more. Not getting into it.
I kind of felt that way about StarCraft 2, but yet I kept on playing StarCraft 2 because it's just like, this game is so neat. How come I never played this game before?
Actually, I've never gotten to beat the first one. I'm one of those people that I like to go through the campaigns of all of them before I start getting into the multiplayer scene. And I got like maybe 3/4 through, and then my laptop like burn out, and I was super impressed.
I never did play the first one. I have the first one on my computer.
It's definitely worth a whirl. It's a lot of fun. Kills a day at least.
Oh yeah, I might be able to try to stream it one of these days. That'd be pretty interesting.
That would be pretty sweet.
But yeah, StarCraft 2, like I think I only got like halfway through the Wings of Liberty campaign, and then I just got like super into multiplayer just because I was watching like all the MLG tournaments and just stuff like that. It was super cool. Oh my god, Venom with the 8 bits. Hey dude. Hey Calvinist, what's up? Hashtag charity. Yeah. I forgot to include that tag into the title. Hashtag charity. If you have bits, do it. Raise it for the kids.
Gotta do it for the kids.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know too much about that charity promotion. I know there's a couple streams that have done it. Yeah. I don't know
I was
about it
actually
either.
about to ask you.
Yeah, I have no clue. No clue. I wish I knew. I should know since I'm a broadcaster, but I don't.
We're very responsible streamers.
We are very, very responsible streamers. I think it might actually be, let's see here, link.twitch.tv/Blizzard of Bits.
Yeah.
Was, okay. Deals are coming. The Blizzard of Bits starts now on Twitch. Here, let's actually put it on this screen. Alright, let's check this out. This season, get ready to spread. Ooh, wait, I have a better scene for this. Yeah, you guys get to watch this on a CRT TV. On my Super Zenith. This TV's a classic. Anyway, let's see here. This season, get ready to spread plenty of holiday cheer. Starting now and continuing through December 27th, we're kicking off the Blizzard of Bits on Twitch. 3 unique deals where you're able to earn extra bits and share them with your friends. Oh, interesting. Or keep them for yourself. Plus, one of the events will help donate to Direct Relief, a global humanitarian organization, all while you support your favorite streamers. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That's very cool. See how the deals work and where you expect them. Now through Cyber Monday, 21st. Well, this is irrelevant. Well, it's still probably interesting information, but it doesn't apply now. Let's see here. Holiday season of giving. On any Twitch channel, when you use bits to cheer with hashtag charity or use the custom charity cheer emote, we'll donate 20 cents for every 100 bits you use to Direct Relief. Dude, awesome.
That's not bad at all.
That is not bad at all. And I guess it runs from December 12th to the 27th. So people, if you got bits and you want to help the chillins,
gotta do it for the chitlins.
you got to do it for the chillins. It's actually really more so for everybody, really. It's a humanitarian. That actually sounds like a disaster relief. Yeah, direct relief. Yeah. I don't know what has happened recently that's like a big national disaster. I remember that huge tsunami and earthquake that happened in Japan not too long ago.
That's probably
I think
one of the most recent.
Yeah, wasn't that in like 2011?
Well, okay. I think Japan actually just recently had something too.
Did they? I wouldn't be shocked. It seems like they just get like earthquakes just like all the time.
I think Japan, and then wasn't there something in Alaska just recent too? I don't think there was much
actually
damage
don't know.
because Alaska's pretty empty, but
Right.
I remember kind of seeing something about Alaska because there was one like that showed like house security cam or something, and it was just like the family like cooking dinner. All of a sudden, like the whole house started shaking. He's just like scooping up his toddlers and running outside the house into the snow. It was
That's
crazy.
crazy. Let's see here. I guess an earthquake did happen. Why no one died in Alaska's 2018 earthquake? Because no one lives in Alaska.
But yeah, like that's why it wasn't really popular. Like nobody died because it's like, well, there's not a lot of people there, so nobody really got affected. But
It's such a remote and intense place to live. Let's see here. A powerful earthquake rocked Anchorage, Alaska last Friday, sending horrific videos of swaying rooms and fractured roads rippling out across social media. Alaska has internet? That's interesting. Just kidding.
Some parts.
That's so mean. Okay, we're talking about like a ugly natural disaster, and here I am making jokes about Alaska. Shame on me. Wow.
Kick them while they're down.
Right. All right, let's check this out. A powerful earthquake rocked Anchorage. I already read that. Let's see here. Yet amazingly, no one deaths were reported as a result of the 7.0 earthquake. Jeez. A testament to Alaska's commitment to resilience. I actually agree with that statement. Just like, have you seen like any of those reality shows where it's like people just like living off of the land and like, you know, like trying to like,
great.
they're like working super hard during the summer and like trying to hunt and gather meat so that way they actually have like a freezer of meat for the winter.
I haven't had to do it quite to that degree, but I've done that for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Alaska. I did it in Vermont during the winter. That was fun.
Right. Well, I am a hunter at heart, so I mean, I've kind of like had those feelings, and like me, like I think trophy hunting is stupid because it kind of just like ruins the whole point of hunting. Like the whole point of hunting is like survivability and sustainability. Like hunting is a survival skill.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's the way I approach it. I think trophy hunting is kind of a way. It's like it's a rich way It's like a rich man's approach to hunting. Like when you've already had plenty and you just want to have some fun, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on how you do it. You can do proper trophy hunting, but it comes down to like, are you mounting the whole thing? Are you only mounting the head? Like, is there a lot of wasted meat? Like, you can do a bit of both. Like, as long as you're actually eating it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like me. The big thing. It's just like I want to eat food.
Right. So I mean, as long as you're not like wasting the meat, I don't see any harm in it. But it would just be a matter of like you'd have to like immediately take it to like a taxidermist to get like the dimensions or something, and then maybe instead of like a full stuff, make it into like a mount instead, and like things like that.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done humanely, I would argue, but
right.
How many people do?
Right. Well, the thing about like something like hunting a wolf is that like you really like the meat tastes awful on a wolf.
Sure.
Like it's just terrible. So really, like the only point for wolves is like having clothing, having like a rug in your living room. If you're able to have like a huge living room with a fireplace, like most Montanans do. Which I mean, like that's super cool. But like me, like I just want to eat something. So like deer, elk, things like that. Like I just like crave that stuff because venison, elk, stuff like that. like that's some of the best tasting meat that you can ever have. Like the best tasting red meat.
Honestly, an obscure one, but well, obscure too. Alligator and bear are both very good.
Bear is really, really good. Never tried alligator.
It's very fishy. It's almost like fishy chicken.
Fishy chicken. That's interesting. Well, I eat a lot of fish. I love salmon. I love trout. I love tuna. Like I eat like albacore tuna. I don't know how my breath just doesn't. I don't know how my breath just isn't like super rank. But it's mainly for like the omega-3s and the omega-3 content just because it helps so much with brain function.
Oh, for sure.
So that's why I'm just kind of like, yes, just give me all of that. And then the fact that I'm starting a ketogenic diet, I'm kind of like easing my way into it, like having fatty fish because it's mainly like it's like a high fat, low carb diet. So like it's like the way I plan on doing it, it's like 60% fat, 35% protein, and then like 5% carb or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like designed so like where your body is just using fat as like a source of energy. So
right.
When you eat carbohydrates, your body produces insulin that and then all that is converted into glucose, and your body uses that for energy, right?
Mm.
It's the same thing with fats, except instead of insulin, it's producing ketones, and you're using that, and that gets converted into glucose, and that's being used as a source of energy.
Oh, okay.
And like,
cool.
I guess when you eat it, just like fat just melts off of you, and you have like you're super awake. You're able to formulate your thoughts really well, just because your brain function is just super high. It was originally meant for kids that had like really bad epilepsy.
Wow.
Yeah. Which I didn't know until like I looked it up, and I was just kind of like, oh, like it helped treat kids with epilepsy. And it's like super interesting.
As much as I like admire modern medicine, I also can't help but wonder like the amount of confusion and like fuckery that occurs in modern medicine because you know how many times that like it comes down to like, oh, we made this for erectile dysfunction and it turns out it helps epileptic kids. Or like, we made this sugar compound by trying to cure cancer, or like there's so many things that are like happy accidents in medicine that it blows my mind how they actually get anything done.
Right. Yeah, I didn't really think of it that way. I think it just like kind of creates confusion just because of the jargon they're using. Because like a lot of these doctors, like especially like people that are like medical engineers that are just like locked themselves in rooms, just like trying to develop all this stuff, and like
Yeah.
trying to like a lot of people like that are just not really the best speakers in general.
True.
Like a lot of the engineers that I've met, you know, they're pretty like introverted. They're really intelligent people, but they're not like they're pretty introverted. They have a tendency to be, you know, like not super articulate. You know what I mean? Jeez, I had trouble formulating my thoughts there myself.
I was say that's the pot calling the kettle black, but
Right. Right. Hypocrisy. But anyway, yeah, like it seems like I feel like, you know, like that could probably create some confusion because it's just kind of like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. What's erectile dysfunction? You know, like what's colon cancer? Like what's a colon? I don't understand. Yeah.
It's when you just smile and nod.
Just smile and nod, just like, yep, yep. Yeah, that's for like a lot of things too.
It's my entire career. Smile and nod. Smile and nod.
Right.
Go
Here,
to
let's
meeting,
get
smile and nod.
right. Here, oh yeah, especially when you're at staff meetings, that's what you have to do.
Oh,
Because it's just like the same stuff over and over again. It's just like, we need to do a better job with this. You know, this isn't getting done. And it's just kind of like, oh, we never talk about the things we're doing well. This is interesting.
I mean, honestly, the best meetings are the ones that could have been handled by like an email chain. Could have taken maybe like 6 or 7 emails, but instead we had to sit down and listen to some bigwig talk for 2 hours straight about how we need to improve workflow and we need to do this. And just like, okay.
Or you could just have like Hillary Clinton come and just take like 50,000 emails or whatever and then just delete them all. Yeah. Well, anyway, I kind of want to get back to this Alaska article because this is juicy content. Can't miss out on the juicy content. God, this podcast has been like super ADD. Like we touched this a little bit, then all of a sudden we started talking about something totally unrelated, which I'm not complaining at all. Let's see here. Powerful earthquake rocked Anchorage, Alaska. Okay, I already read that. Let's see here. Where was I last at? I think it was here.
Gotta get a bookmark.
Yeah, gotta get a bookmark, evidently. See, when the earthquake struck at 8:29 a.m. local time, just 8 miles south outside of Anchorage, officials braced for the worst. The shaking began with a sharp jolt and lasted for a minute, causing many people to run outside. Worries immediately circulated that snow and freezing temperatures would hamper relief efforts. Alaska only sees about 6 hours of daylight this time of year. That's actually true. It's so interesting to me, just like how much like during the winter times, like it never gets dark like ever up there.
I think it's crazy to have to run out into the snow while your house is possibly falling down. Like right there, you're like, great, I'm about 20 miles out from civilization. My house might cave in right now.
But you would be safe though. Like you don't have to worry about like another building collapsing on you.
I mean, there's a shit ton of trees.
I mean, there is. It really depends. It really depends on where you live, because you could be in areas that really aren't that wooded.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Let's see here. No large buildings collapse, although some roads were shown completely impassable. Large swathes of asphalt shattered like ice. No bridges or other major pieces of infrastructure were destroyed. That sounds like a scene out of 2012. Like, remember in 2012? Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember like seeing like the highways like in LA, just kind of like there's like these huge lines in the middle of them. That's what it makes me think of.
I could be wrong. There was like a picture of that with this last one. And I think they fixed it in like a week.
Really?
Like they're industrious as fuck. They're just like, all right, we need this on ramp. It's gonna get fixed right now. Like they devoted all efforts into getting that one road fixed like immediately.
It's all because of all those tax dollars from legalized recreational marijuana.
It's very expensive in Alaska, so I can believe it.
It is very expensive. Wait, is recreational marijuana legalized in Alaska?
Oh, I don't know about that. I just meant like existing in Alaska is expensive as hell.
It can be.
It's like $5 for like a gallon of milk.
Right.
Like everything is just exorbitantly expensive up there.
That's why people just live off of the land and just stay off the grid.
It's true.
Or at least I could.
But even then, like if you need a part for something, you're paying like 6 times the part.
I guess, yeah. You're not right. You're not wrong about that. Let's see here. Geologically, Alaska lucked out. Even though Friday's earthquake struck in a highly populated area, the epicenter was relatively deep, about 25-30 miles below the ground, meaning that that a lot of its energy was released before it reached the surface. Interesting. I thought earthquakes was like more so like a pure like surface phenomena. Like epicenters are like always on the surface.
I mean, I think it depends on where the plates are rubbing. So they're probably on a plate that's already kind of more on top of another plate.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. So they're already the friction that's occurring in the epicenter where the tectonic shift is just so far below the ground that it's not causing nearly the amount of destruction as it is when there's two neighboring plates that are smashing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like they probably just got like a weird like overlap going on right now.
Mm-hmm. Probably. I guess that would make sense with just like all the mountains that are there. I guess Elon Musk's tunnels are screwed.
That was something that a lot of people that I've talked to about or immediately like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's make a tunnel where there's a shit ton of earthquakes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's do that. Why not?
I think it would depend on like how deep the platonic plates are.
Yeah.
And just like where the fault lines are at, really. Because like that's what he was talking about on Joe Rogan's podcast, that, you know, earthquakes are essentially surface phenomena. And it's just kind of like, you know, like during a storm in the ocean where there's like a huge tsunami. Like you want to be like in the water when all that is happening. Like you don't want to be like on the surface of the water, essentially. Because like when you're like completely underneath the water, like when you're in a submarine, like a submarine is essentially like the best part to be on like a huge storm or when there's just like a huge tsunami coming.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue you probably need to be like at least like 10 feet below water. Like you don't want to be at the top because it does still drag up.
No, that's what I'm talking about. You want to be deep. You know, like the whole point is just like being underneath water.
Oh yeah.
Shoot, what was the thing with Elon Musk's tunnels? I think it's supposed to be able to shift. Like the tunnel's supposed to be able to shift with like during an earthquake. Like, you know, like it's supposed to be able. Yeah. I think so.
I think exactly. I know a lot of people were saying that like felt like a wooden roller coaster. Like it just the smoothness of that yet is not perfected, so it feels kind of rickety. So
I hear it's like driving on a. Yeah, I hear that it's like driving on a gravel road.
Oh wow.
Let's see here. The science behind Elon Musk's LA tunnels.
Must be nice to be that rich that you can just start doing all these random pet projects and hope one of them pans out.
But have you listened to very many interviews of Elon Musk?
Not especially, but it's just crazy. Like I know I've seen a lot of his products, I guess I should say.
Right. His thought process is so interesting. Like he'll just be sitting down and he'll just be like, what would happen if we just make this? You know, like how would the world improve if we make this? Like what if we, you know, like what if we like made some tunnels like underneath LA to help, you know, like deal with LA traffic because LA traffic sucks. And he's just like, oh, like what if we create, you know, like this thing called the Boring Company as just kind of like a joke, and we take I think it's the not a flamethrower thing.
Yeah, that's Boring.
I think it's like a roofing torch just with an air rifle body on it. I'm pretty sure that's all it is.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hence why it's called not a flamethrower.
It's true. Loopholes goes a long way.
Oh yeah, these tunnels are actually made by the Boring Company. That's pretty interesting.
Quick question.
Oh my God, Amazon.
You don't need?
No.
And
YouTube ads. I need to get YouTube Premium again, but I'm broke.
Right.
Dad, Apple Music.
He gets it. This guy gets it.
Now you sit in the dark.
6 months
Now you're real
Apple
broke.
Music on the network.
Oh yeah, you can still see me. I forgot, but stream can't see that I'm seeing in the dark.
This is what I worry about a tunnel.
All right, let's
Every
check this
time I
out.
see a tunnel, I worry about if it collapsed, if there was an accident, you have nowhere to go. How do you make it safe? That's what I worry about. How do you make it safe?
Tunnels are modern tunnels are exceptionally safe. I mean, our tunnels are designed to the highest California seismic.
He looks like he's running off of like 2 hours of sleep.
Honestly, I feel like he always looks that way.
Well, like when you have this guy's schedule, and you're
That's
doing
true.
all this stuff, when you're doing SpaceX, when you're doing Tesla, when you're doing Solar City, like all of this stuff, like how do you have time to do anything? Like
That's fair.
I still don't understand his time management. Even when Joe Rogan like asked him about like his time management, like he still didn't really explain it that well because I don't think he really knows either. I don't know.
He just does whatever he can when he can.
Right? Like this
seismic
This
standard.
dude just never sleeps. Anyway.
They're gas-proof, waterproof. In an earthquake, for example, people often think, what about an earthquake? Won't it cave in? It's like, no, tunnels are the safest place to be in an earthquake.
Explain that.
I think earthquakes are primarily a surface phenomenon. They're like waves on the surface. And you can
Right,
imagine
that's
if
what I
you're
was
in the
talking about
ocean,
earlier. Like,
you'd much rather-
earthquakes are basically like waves on a surface, kind of like, a big tsunami wave. Like, that's why you want to be in a
Damn.
submarine, like, kind of deep underwater when there's a tsunami happening, because you're less likely to be actually affected by it. Which, who knows? I don't know if he's actually right. Maybe, like, a geologist could be like, oh, no, he's wrong. This is why. Alaska.
I'm saying, I mean, maybe I was way wrong about
submarine
Alaska. Who
underwater,
knows?
Right.
be on the surface if there's a hurricane. It's super quiet underground.
She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Smile and
for
nod,
next-
humans.
Smile and nod,
for
smile and nod.
earthquake, for a whole- massive number of people died.
I imagine that's got to be hard for him. Like when you're that wealthy
Zero
and you're that intelligent, just to be like, I really have to put up with you right now.
Mm.
Can
Well,
I
somebody-
just pay money to leave?
Well, somebody that intelligent, just in general, is already an oddity. Hi, Phoenix. What's
Sure.
going on? Like, when someone just... Like, yeah, because, like, most people, they're not, like, sitting down just, like, thinking about, like, how we can make the world better. Like, usually it's, like, their own lives or, like, they have, like, their own project going on and they just stick with that project. Like, someone like Elon Musk's case, like, he's, like, a total oddity. Like, total oddity. He's basically an alien.
You might very well be.
Yeah. He even admitted it on Joe Rogan. Like, I am an alien. The business magnet. But yeah, anyway, let's finish out this video.
people died in the subway tunnels. If you were in the subway tunnel, you were totally safe.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So how do you know this, Elon Musk? How do you know this?
I mean, it's just one Wikipedia search away. It's very easy to find
Because
out.
everything on Wikipedia is correct.
This is not a deep secret.
Oh yeah, everyone knows that.
Everyone
Every high
knows
school
that.
teacher knows that.
Yeah. I think, I don't know, maybe the plate tectonics in California aren't exactly the same as the plate tectonics in Alaska. Maybe it's just kind of like,
That's true.
yeah. I am sitting in the dark now, chat, sorry. But I mean, you still can see my face. So it kind of works out. Yeah, normally I just kind of like leave the kitchen light on. And it's usually like enough light to kind of provide some lighting. I still need to get some like webcam lights.
Oh, that's cool. I know what you're talking about. There's like the circle lights that you put right around your mic, even.
Oh yeah, even around your mic. Razer is actually making a webcam where it has like a light like that, like built into it. You can just like turn it clockwise and then it just gets like brighter. And you're able to do it like that.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Mm.
Only problem is since it's Razer, it's gonna be like $600 when it's a $300 product.
Razer products are super expensive. It's just like Apple or like with Beats. Like Beats headphones, like Beats Studio headphones, like they cost like $125 to make.
Yeah.
But they sell it for like $300. That's just mainly just because of like margins and the fact that they spend so much money on advertising and then just kind of like promoting their brand.
Oh yeah.
It clearly works because if I remember correctly, Beats Audio actually owns about 75% of the headphone market,
Wow.
like the headphone audio market. So clearly
I was
it's
not aware of
working,
that.
but it's still true that you could get like a much more higher quality product for much cheaper from like Audio-Technica, AKG, those kind of places. Sennheiser as well. Sennheiser is actually still cheaper than, you can get a good pair of Sennheisers that are like at least like $50 cheaper than Beats that sound way better.
I don't doubt it in the slightest. I mean, there's so many products out like that. It's just branding, really.
Yeah, all
You
it
just
is
gotta
is
pay for the
branding,
brand.
margins. Yeah.
Because I
That's
mean,
how
hell, I don't know if you saw Razer. They're coming out with a new Xbox and mouse.
An
They're gonna
Xbox
do,
mouse?
like, sorry, not. There is a keyboard and mouse for the Xbox. That's what they're.
Oh
like,
yeah, I
working
forgot
towards.
that. I forgot that they
And
were
it's
doing
gonna
that.
be like $260 for a keyboard and mouse. I was like, holy shit! You can't just plug in a standard keyboard with a USB plug and a keyboard, like a USB mouse. It should cost me at most $50. I was
Mhm.
250.
Well, it's probably like it probably has some crazy RGB lighting. Wow. And it's probably a mechanical keyboard too, or at least it might be like my keyboard because I have a Razer keyboard. It's the Ornata.
Okay.
And it's like one of those like mechanical or like mecha membrane keyboards where it's just like a hybrid between the two.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's something like that. I'll have to look it up. Oh yeah, Venom, how you doing, my friend? It's good to see you. Thanks for those biddies. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. You too, Phoenix. I think I already said hi to you. But anyway. Yeah. Chat participation, it's fine, even though like sometimes I'm lazy when it comes to reading chat, especially when I'm doing this podcast. I don't think it's
especially with a podcast, it's kind of
right.
expected, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not quite so bad when I'm just like I read everything when I'm just like playing a game and just streaming that way. But like with a podcast, like I almost like never look at chat. And then like unless like someone drops like bits or drops a sub, then I like have to like look over at my Streamlabs dashboard and see like what happened because I hear the notifications in my head. I'm just like,
yeah.
It like makes me like lose my train of thought. It's just like when a dog sees a squirrel, it's just like
They get you deer in headlights.
right. It's just like the movie Up. Squirrel. Never mind, that was a raccoon.
That even happens to me. Like honestly, that happens to me a lot with just even in games, etc. Not even just like a podcast or anything of that nature. Just like you hear the noise, and even though you hear all kinds of different sound effects, like the chime of like subs and bits are like ingrained into my memory now, and I can just immediately hear it, and I just stop what I'm doing. I look over, like, what's going on?
Right.
9 times out of 10, that gets me killed out of Battlefield.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I swear they try to time that to get me killed too.
Good old Battlefield. Is Battlefield 5 out yet?
Yeah, it came out a little bit before Thanksgiving.
Oh shoot! Now I'm out of the loop. Yeah, but
If
you've
you had
been
Battlefield
playing
1. I
Yeah,
think it's like
have-
50% off.
Yeah, true. Haven't you been mostly playing Battlefield 1 though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Have you tried out Battlefield 5 yet?
Actually, I haven't. I picked it up last week. I've been planning on playing it. I'll probably play it pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people. I play game categories that are a little bit emptier, just for a little bit more visibility.
Right. That is smarter when you're trying to grow your Twitch channel. It's always best to just kind of like go against the grain and like play things that no one else is playing.
Yeah, I think like Battlefield, it used to have a little bit more, but since Battlefield 5 came out, right now we're floating around like 100 people, 100 viewers. So I think I'm probably about to transition out of it very soon. Although honestly, I don't have all the kinks worked out, but I'm kind of taking my channel in a completely different direction. I'm hoping to kind of launch that next month or like early February. So
are you able to talk
interesting.
about what that different direction may be, or like is it like more variety streaming, or is it totally like new content, like completely new content?
I can talk about some. I'm looking to do kind of a like a role play theme throughout multiple games. I think a good example of that would be this is a really obscure reference. If you've watched the television series Portal, that was on G4, like early 2000s.
I know the game Portal. I didn't know there was a TV show called Portal.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. But basically, what it was is they kind of had like this generic script, and then there's this guy that was working with basically this in-game character, and they would go from MMO to MMO, and it was basically just like a huge sponsored ad for MMOs. And they would go from like EverQuest, and then they would have to go and like hunt down this guy, and there would be like this evil character that they'd have to battle, and then he would escape them and then go into like Lineage 2 or something, like, and they would just continue this process throughout multiple MMOs, and then they would go back to other ones, and then they would like get into Jedi MMOs. Like it was all kinds of just really cool different MMOs, and it really got like a lot of samples for games out there that people might not have played before, while still kind of keeping like a running arc of plot.
So it's just one character that's like constantly traveling between like different MMOs, essentially.
Right.
Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. I don't think everybody else is doing that.
Looking to do.
Yeah. Usually, most people are just like playing one singular game, and they're just kind of like selling that game, and they're also selling their personality on top of that.
Right.
That's kind of like Asmongold, like he plays World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, that already has like its own like niche, that already has like its own people that are interested in that. And then like there's also like his personality, like he's super sarcastic, like almost satirical.
Yeah,
like I love Asmongold so much.
He's been rocking Dark Souls lately.
Has he been rocking Dark Souls?
Yeah, I've been watching the game categories, and I've been seeing it spike, and every time it spikes, I know it's Asmongold got on.
Yeah, I thought I saw that in a highlight reel. Because like sometimes like I'll just get bored and I'll like watch those like Twitch highlight reels of like different clips.
Oh yeah.
I thought I saw him doing Dark Souls too. I thought that was like a long time ago though.
No, it's actually real recent. He's pretty pissed off about World of Warcraft right now. what is it, Battle for Azeroth or whatever they're calling it, whatever the most recent expansion is, a lot of veteran World of Warcraft players are pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not doing anything against like player against player. It's just like the NPCs are having a great war, but for everyone else, it's just kind of like, well, I guess a couple of arbitrary NPCs are dead now, but it's still the same game for us.
Interesting. I'm surprised that veteran World of Warcraft players are still playing the game.
I mean, I don't
Didn't
know.
it, like,
Did you ever play it yourself?
I played a little bit of it. It wasn't necessarily my thing, even though like I enjoy RPGs and stuff like that. I was more into Star Wars: The Old Republic. I just kind of like preferred that as an MMO, and then not too while after that, I got into Destiny, which is that's kind of like a blend between like an MMO and FPS almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I did World of Warcraft. I did for like 3 years. And I played it a shit ton in those 3 years. So I can understand why the veterans are still playing it. And I mean, especially like it's very easy to get like locked into a game and not being willing to get out of it. Because I mean, as a personal example, and if he ever watches this, I hope he doesn't take offense, but like Epic Excalibur of Darkmoon Gaming, he does Monster Hunter World. I can see him go from like, he generally holds about 30 viewers to up to 120.
That's awesome.
And as soon as he plays something new, it goes down to like 10 to 15. And I think that's probably a lot of them aren't willing to go anywhere because you have
that's so true for everybody.
Pretty much reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. That's so true with like so many people though. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, unless you're XQC, then you could just pretty much play whatever game you want to, and like everybody will just meme super hard and just eat it up like candy.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's like one of the main reasons that like, for at least for my community, I've been trying to stay kind of variety. I have been doing a little bit more Battlefield than anything else, but I do try to put other games in there because I don't want anyone to be like, oh, he's the Monster Hunter World guy, or oh, he's the World of Warcraft guy. Like, I want to be like, yeah, I do play stuff. I do a lot of different stuff, actually.
Yeah, I feel like that's the main danger of just like playing one singular game is that, people just kind of like identify that game and then also like identify with you and they identify you as a player of that game. Because of the fact that you've just like played nothing else but that game, you kind of branded yourself as just like a player of that game. Right. So when you go play something else, people are just kind of like, where the hell is Destiny? Where'd it go?
Yeah.
You're playing Fallout. Fallout sucks. I hate this game. I can't watch the stream today. And then you end up playing Fallout for like the next couple weeks. Where the hell is Destiny? Or if you're a variety streamer, I guess it could probably happen with them too. It's just like, I wanted to see you play Elder Scrolls. Just like, I finished Elder Scrolls like last week. This is like, well, I'm never going to watch the stream ever again until you start playing more Elder Scrolls. And then Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and they come back like, oh, hey, you're finally playing Elder Scrolls again.
No, you're right though. That definitely like, I've experienced it on both ends because I think in the beginning I was definitely a streamer. I wasn't a like tremendously successful one, but I still like when people came to my channel, they expected Monster Hunter World, and then I slowly started transitioning off of Monster Hunter World and doing a couple other games. And yeah, I always got comments of like, "This isn't Monster Hunter World. This isn't Monster Hunter World," and it's like, yeah, but it's something new, so we can have fun. And then like, yeah, there's definitely people that I don't see in my channel anymore that used to be like veterans and regulars that I heard all the time, and I seriously consider it just to be because I don't play Monster Hunter World anymore.
Well, it's just the psychology behind that. It's just so weird. Like, that's so true with, like, so many other streamers. Like, they'll just play, like, one game, and then, like, all of a sudden they stop playing that game, and then, like, nobody watches them. Like, it's so weird. I think it's just because... Oh, go ahead.
People like to watch... Sorry.
People
like to watch, like, a specific... And I can understand especially if it's a drastic shift, which sometimes happens a lot. Sometimes happens a lot. That was a great sentence. But I feel like that happens like a fair bit. That like even for me, for instance, like I did Monster Hunter World, Japanese RPG, kind of an action combo stick fighter against big monsters into Battlefield 1. Like the communities don't really mesh. Now, if you went from like Monster Hunter World to like Dauntless or something like that, where it's a very similar game, I can see that being a much smoother transition.
Yeah. Maybe, but then again, you still have those people that don't show up just because you're not playing Monster Hunter.
True.
It's like almost like they identify with that game. Just like, this is my thing. And then like, you're kind of like my little home within that little thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, I don't know if it's just like relatable. Like, I don't understand the psychology behind it. It's so weird.
I mean, like you said yourself, you're playing a lot of Overwatch right now, so the
Well,
likelihood
now I'm
of
just
you
doing
wanting to watch.
podcasting.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, before you did a lot of Overwatch, etc. So I can see that you probably wouldn't want to be like, hey, let's watch Red Dead Redemption 2 right now. Like, odds are you're more inclined to want to go back to that Overwatch stream. So I think it's just same for other people that you have certain things you want to watch, and then the person goes on to something that you're like, oh, I don't really want to watch. Oh, okay? I don't really want to watch that either.
Well, I guess I'm never gonna watch you ever again. Just like you went from StarCraft to League of Legends. Oh my God, you sold your soul to the devil. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I was getting burnt out at Overwatch. Well, I still play Overwatch and I love the game, but I don't really feel like my place within that was, like as a streamer, or at least like the streamer that just like is known for like being a player of the game. Just because I'm not really consistently good at the game, So like I'm probably better off like this content, like I feel like I'm way better at, and then just also like my music related content, because I'll stream like some of my band shows, some of my band's rehearsals and stuff like that. And then
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's different compared to like what everybody else is doing. Like everybody else is just doing like purely video game related content, and like me, like I'm still doing like a lot of that myself, but like it's not really like exclusively that. It's more like like I have like basically a radio show, and then like I'm in 2 different bands and I'm like trying to promote that.
Right. No, I definitely think, I mean, that's a very different thing. And I especially even like music, there's some very successful music Twitch streamers, but there's quite a lesser market, especially compared to like Overwatch or something, which I think that's something too. I think a lot of people get burnt out because the saturation of games, like Overwatch isn't as bad as like Fortnite per se, but it's still got a healthy amount of streamers in it.
It's got a healthy amount of streamers. It's got a very healthy, dedicated community. Just because the game is fun and there's just like something to it. It's just kind of like it's a fast-paced game. It's a fast-paced game with tons of strategy, and it has like tons of teamwork involved too. So it's just kind of like the synergy of that. That's why I enjoy Overwatch. Just because like the amount of thinking and the amount of knowledge required.
I personally don't care for it, but I understand why a lot of people would enjoy it, and I don't hold it against anyone for wanting to stream it. I just think that, like, again, since I'll say I'm generally kind of a growth streamer. I like to try to make sure that my community is building and my viewership increases, etc. And I think a lot of that, like, I just can't imagine streaming in something that has like 20,000 viewers and like 1,000 streamers compared to, like, okay, Battlefield 1 is admittedly very dry. Was at about 500 viewers and only about 50 streamers. So there was a lot more market available. Whereas like Overwatch, I just can't help but feel like a drop in the bucket,
Yeah. Well, when you have like a very, very, very small channel, then yeah, you're basically like this pond, like this little perch, like this tiny little fish just in like this gigantic sea. Instead you could be like, you could join like a little smaller pond, and all of a sudden, like, you're the biggest fish. Sure. I feel like that's kind of like how it works. But then again, like, the more food you eat and the more exercise you just get bigger as a fish. Then all of a sudden, you could exist in another sea, like in another pond, and then like you're actually a big fish in that pond as well. Like I feel like as you grow your community, and like once you have like enough people, and they're like totally attached to your personality, you could play like almost any game you want.
Oh, I definitely agree.
Like you can
honestly, like 50 seems to be the point. Sorry.
No, you're okay.
But yeah, like 50 viewers or so seems to be kind of that threshold, in my opinion. Like if you have 50, you can usually survive in most game categories.
I would say it's probably like 100, but then again, 50 viewers per stream is pretty decent as well. Like 50 viewers and like maybe 30 of them are sub to you. And then like you have like 5, let's see here. I'm bad at math. Let's just say you have 500 followers, and then you have like 50 viewers a stream, and then you're at like 30 subs. Like that's a decent like side income. Like you're making like an extra like couple $100s a month at least.
For sure.
Like assuming.
I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, like assuming those 30 people like actually stay sub to you and like stays consistent, because on Twitch like nothing stays consistent. Like
sure.
ninjas still make it like insanely good money, but it's probably not quite as much as it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But he's still able to sustain himself just because of like his sponsorships and stuff like that, and like he still like is pulling like 50,000 viewers a stream, which is still huge.
Well, honestly, I mean, they make some huge breakdowns too. Because honestly, like for us, it would be a drop in the bucket. Because I know a lot of people are saying that, like, oh man, give affiliates ads so that we can run a couple ads and make some money. Like realistically, we wouldn't make much. But
We
someone
wouldn't
like
make anything
Ninja,
off of
he
ads.
runs an ad. He can make a couple of thousand per ad he runs, even if it's a 10-second ad. Like he just has that many viewers that sure it might be a penny per viewer, but he has how many thousands of viewers?
Right. Like assuming that nobody has ad block, like you have 50,000 people, like assuming that nobody has ad block, and you make like what is it, like a penny per like ad viewer? Here, let's actually do the math here. Like if it was like $1 per ad viewer, which would be like a really high amount, then it's just easy. Like you get 50K just by running like one ad.
Yeah,
Like wouldn't that be insane?
it would be nice.
That would be
Honestly, I
super
mean,
nice.
that's pretty much why a lot of big streamers do like sponsored games, etc. That like, things that they don't normally play because sometimes, yeah, it really is like they get about $1 per person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I imagine sponsored streams like that like pay a lot.
Oh, no doubt.
Here, let's do the math. Let's drag my calculator out. So, what'd we say?
I was-
50,000 viewers,
I'll probably say about a penny realistically, like a penny
Okay.
per viewer.
and then we're gonna multiply that by 0.10, so that's 1 penny equals. So you get like $500 an ad, which is still a pretty good amount of money.
Oh, great.
So if
Nice.
you
I
run
mean,
like
10-second ad.
yeah, like a 10-second ad, and like maybe like if you're doing an 8-hour stream, you probably take at least like, and you took like a break like every hour and a half. So it'd be 1, and then it'd be 2, and then it'd be 3. Like let's just say like you took like 5 like 10-minute breaks, like with like every hour and a half within that 8-hour span. So like at least like 4 breaks, right? So if you run ads like 4 times a stream, you're getting at least 2K off of that. And that's not counting the fact that, you know, you're running multiple ads usually within that span of time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, on top of that, you got bits, you got subs. Like, it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of money to be had on Twitch. It's just super hard to actually make all that money. Like, you got to
Oh, for
be, like,
sure.
the creme de la creme. And then, like, relevancy, like, it appears and then disappears. Like, it's like a puff of smoke. Like 3 months ago, like you were super relevant, and then 3 months later, like everybody's like moved on to someone else. Like everybody's attention span is like super low on Twitch.
I think it
It seems like.
there for like the average mid-sized streamer, that's the case. But like, I don't see Ninja going anywhere.
I
He
don't
can
think he's gonna
become
go anywhere.
absolute trash at Fortnite, but he can switch to like RuneScape, and I think he would still have a huge cult following. Like he just built that much.
Or he
but
could go
I-
back to Halo.
Yeah,
I think it'd be sweet
I-
if Ninja came back to Halo, but
that would be pretty cool.
Mhm.
I like to see him play more with like Shroud or like Doctor Disrespect. Although I know Doctor's not like stupid good. Shroud is, but
well, Shroud just like he's super good at like pretty much every game that he touches that involves like when the core mechanic is involving like shooting a gun, like he just
Right.
picks it up quick. God, imagine if Shroud just I've seen Shroud play a lot of Overwatch, but imagine like if he just became an Overwatch guy. Oh my god. That'd be incredible.
Oh,
But
it'd be
anyway.
pretty sweet.
So we're already an hour into the podcast. Should we take a little breaksy?
Sure, if you like.
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Perfect. So we'll take about a 10-15 minute break. Here, let me look this up really quick. Dead air for just a minute. I apologize, chat. Actually, it's not really dead air because I'm trying to multitask, but it's so hard. It's so hard to type and then like it's so hard to type and then just like keep like the momentum going like at the exact same time. It's super weird.
Oh, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially like the worst thing that happens to me is I end up typing and then saying what I'm trying to type, and that just makes it so
And then-
much more confusing.
Right. Like you could like say everything you're typing, but just like super slowly.
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, all right, guys. Well, we'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. Keep it right here. The Shenanigans Festival podcast with DulleInTheHead.
Good to be here.
Oh, yeah. This is a lot of fun. All right. Be right back.
What music is that I hear?
Something to try and make you feel at home.
Checkity check. 1, 2, 3. I think we're back. It sounds like we're back.
Good stuff.
Great stuff. So yeah, if you were paying attention to chat, you just saw a couple new Nightbot commands get added. One is for my SoundCloud, because now we actually have MP3 versions of the podcast on SoundCloud now. Right now it's only the first episode. I need to get done with the second episode, be lazy, and then this one will also be on SoundCloud as well. So you can go there, you can download it for free, listen to it whenever, wherever you want to. SoundCloud.com/Shenanigans Festival. Be there.
Be there, be square.
Be there.
It's super cliche.
It is super cliche, but it's the truth. You don't want to be square because, like, who actually wants a square head? I don't know.
Minecraft Steve.
Minecraft Steve. I don't know. It depends on whether or not you really want to be a Minecraft character, I guess.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's some perks to it. You get to fight the dragon at some point.
Yeah,
you just
true.
go to bed and you actually go to sleep. That's like the number one superpower of Minecraft Steve. He goes into bed and immediately goes to sleep and wakes up and it's actually daytime.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
And then you get to like travel like the Nether and stuff like that. You get to have diamond swords.
It's true.
Diamond swords are pretty cool, not gonna lie.
It's true.
They are pretty cool.
Although honestly, it would be a little bit different for us because like if you think about like especially the diamond armor has like a blue sheen, but in reality crystals or diamonds are just clear. So you would just be this weird, like heavily armored naked man running around with a diamond sword.
Right. I bet it's hard to actually like make a clear version. But then again, like if you did like exactly what you said, like you'd be basically naked. It would look like glass.
An issue.
Yeah.
That's true.
But then again, it's not like glass. Like glass is like totally clear. Even though diamonds are technically clear too, but sometimes they might have like a little like white tint to it, it seems like. I don't know.
Look paler.
Right.
Perfect.
You do get to look paler, but you have super tough armor, so it's fine. You have armor stronger than steel.
At that point, the only thing that hurts you is all the insults because everyone can see your junk.
Right. Or you could just make armor off of hemp. What if you could do that in Minecraft?
Be interesting.
Like hemp
I think
armor?
There's probably some mods, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know they can grow. I know you can grow hemp in a couple of like the mod packs.
You probably could. Dude, have you actually seen like how strong hemp is?
No.
It's so strange because it's tougher than like steel, but like it's lighter than a feather. It's so strange. Okay, let me look this up.
I know it's like that with spiderweb too.
Yeah,
Like
spiderweb's the
silk?
exact same. Yeah, spider silk. Spider silk is super strong. Yeah, let me
Animals
look
are
this up.
crazy. Nature's crazy. Let's be
Nature
realistic
is
here.
crazy. Nature is super crazy. But yeah, and like hemp is also like a really good source of protein as well.
Yeah.
There'll be people that will make like hemp salads, or they'll have like hemp protein powder. And like your body's
something that's on a steel we can process.
something out of. What are you talking about? Like something out of steel we could process?
Well, sorry, you were saying that like hemp is as strong as steel, but it's interesting that like hemp salad. So you're saying that we can eat it. I never really thought about eating it because your body has to break that down. You know.
Right. Well, I guess like hemp protein is like very absorbed. Like it's very easily absorbed in the body. It's just kind of like I think it actually absorbs faster than whey, because whey protein is normally like a fast absorbing protein, and that's why everybody like drinks those things like after they're done working out, just because your body's able to get those nutrients really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And then people will drink like casein protein like right before they go to sleep, because casein protein is like a slower digesting protein. So it's like that, and then like cottage cheese as well. You know, that's something that digests really slowly. So like, you know, that's something you can eat like right during like pretty much like right before you go to bed.
Ugh, cottage cheese. Ugh.
And you probably never had good cottage cheese then. Like cottage cheese with like salt and pepper, like some hot sauce in that. Like throw some tomatoes in there too. Like it's good stuff.
I'll have to give it another shot then.
Yeah. But then
I
again,
never
like,
thought to put hot sauce with cottage cheese.
oh dude, I put hot sauce on everything. Like Cholula, sriracha, and like throw that on my eggs. Like it's super good.
On eggs, yes. I've done that with eggs, but I've never thought to do that with cottage cheese. I feel like almost like that's a mix in palates, but I'll give it a shot. I'll report it and let you know.
Oh yeah. But then again, like not everybody's palate's like set up for like cottage cheese. Like I don't know, it really depends like how much you love cheese just in general.
I don't mind cheese, but I think part of it too, for me at least, I'm a weird person with food. Texture is a big thing. And I think cottage cheese texture is just not for me.
So you're just not into like those like soft, like I guess there's no other way to say it, but soft moist foods.
Soft and moist is okay. It's like cottage cheese is lumpy too.
Yeah.
Soft, moist, and lumpy. Not a fan.
So if it was something like almost like totally like puree, like almost like mashed potatoes. Like have you ever had like mashed potatoes that are basically just like creamy, and then like you don't even have
Those
to
are
chew it,
okay.
you just swallow it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Me, I'm the
But like if
opposite.
you get them mixed in between, like if you don't finish pureeing it, like there's still clumps, I'd probably be game over for me.
Right. I don't know. I'm different. Like when I eat stuff like that, it's just like it feels like I'm almost eating baby food. Like something like super puree like that. That's why I really hope that I never get like sent to like a hospital and have to be on like puree textured food, because that would just be like a nightmare. Have you ever? Like I've
No,
tried like
thankfully
pureed.
not.
I've tried like pureed like cauliflower and like pureed hamburger. Like it's super weird because like the flavor is the exact same, but it's just like you're eating paste. It's kind of like this is not okay.
That sounds awful, especially cauliflower. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean cauliflower can be good. Like I've made some.
Agreed.
I made some pretty good cauliflower with like Parmesan seasoning. Like I made like a Parmesan seasoning of like Parmesan. I think it was like a lemon pepper or something like that. I forget the spices that I made with it, but it was super good.
I've actually had it's a bit of an obscure one, but buffalo chicken-esque cauliflower.
Buffalo chicken.
Like you don't put the chicken in it, but you do it the same way you would make like buffalo chicken wings.
But
Not
instead,
bad.
you're using cauliflower instead of actual chicken.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, it's not bad. I think I mean it's up to you. You could actually maybe not puree it, but you could mash it up some and then do like some bread coating, and it tastes very reminiscent to a buffalo wing.
That's really weird. Well, that's cool. I might have to try that one of these days, but I'm just not a vegetarian. I need some meat on that sandwich, man.
I can
Love me some
appreciate
meat.
that.
All right, here's the article that I was talking about. What is strength and why is hemp stronger than steel? Yeah, let's go ahead and read this. Let me switch scenes so you can see it on my Super Zenith. What if we actually made this like the default scene for the podcast, where I just had like, where you just saw the cameras, but you only like saw it like through this TV, so it kind of feels like an old time like news television show. Wouldn't that be super cool? I might actually do that.
That would be pretty cool.
I might actually do that.
Maybe put like the webcams on the left and the right, and then have the articles that you're talking about in the.
Yeah, we would have to
That
use
way
another.
it's cheaper.
We would have to use something else at Discord then. Like, I don't know if you're able to do that with like Google Hangout. You probably can do that with Skype. But I hate using Skype for like anything while I'm streaming because you're so easily able to pull IPs off of Skype.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe that wouldn't be a
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah. All right, let's watch this video. All right. World's most powerful plant in 60 seconds.
World's most powerful plant in 60 seconds.
The minute is actually a minute and 12 seconds long.
Known existence. Why is hemp stronger than steel?
Wow.
What is strength and why is hemp
They lied to
stronger than
us.
steel?
Right.
What is unknown will be known.
Well, I'm sure it's
in
like 12
60
seconds
or
of
less.
like, hey, don't
What
forget
does
to
it mean be
subscribe,
strong?
and we're
There are
doing
two ways
this.
to measure strength.
Right.
1, crack and break like dry tree branch. 2, bend and mend like a metal spring in a pen. Imagine a dry tree branch in both hands. It's pretty stiff and doesn't bend. Nothing really happens.
This guy's
when you apply a
voice,
lot
I
of
love it.
pressure. When you put a lot of pressure on a branch, it doesn't bend. It cracks and breaks. Next, imagine squishing a spring between two
just
fingers.
love the
It bends
generic
and mends
clip
back
art.
to its original
Right.
position with each. When you put a lot of pressure on it, it's rather
YouTube
hard
videos
to
on a
make
budget.
spring crack and break. Just
For
like
real?
it's hard for dry tree branch to bend and mend back to its original position. The two measurements of strength are crack and break and bend
Pretty
and
confident
mend.
he just
With
went
these
through
two
like
measurements of
clip
strength,
art
we're
on
easily able to
Google,
understand why hemp is
or
stronger
he
than
just
steel.
looked up like
Hemp can
copyright
hold
free
almost twice
material.
the
and
I
just
imagine
started
this-
grabbing pictures.
I imagine this video took him like 3 days straight just to record his voice. Because he's like, oh, I didn't articulate this correctly. Oh, I'm not speaking fast enough. Like, oh, like I was way too high pitched here. Like sometimes I do that even with like record, because like when I convert the podcast to MP3 format, like I'll add an intro, and like sometimes I even overthink that. Just like, oh, that doesn't sound interesting. Oh, that doesn't sound funny. That doesn't sound cool. Because I just like have an idea in my head of like how I'm supposed to sound, and when I don't sound like that, I just get like super frustrated. Then again, like I end up getting like super tilted and like trying to force myself to be like funny and relaxed, even though I'm not really funny and relaxed right now. Yeah, I don't know why I do that, but
Honestly, that's like one of my favorite things about Twitch is it keeps it more organic. Like you try to
Hmm.
do the best you can, but you realize like I can't take that back. If I screw this up, it's over. Like
right. Yeah, it's different.
We're
Like I have
doing
a
it
totally different attitude when I'm streaming. Like if I say something wrong, it's just kind of like, oh, I didn't mean to say that. Oh well, moving on. But like when I have a chance to like totally re-record that and like fix it, then like I just get meticulous. Like I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I've been meaning on working on making some YouTube videos, etc. And it's the same thing. I'm like, I could do perfecting this. No, let me test this. Let me try this. Okay.
Is there something going on with your internet? Because your microphone was kind of cutting in and out there
Oh,
for
I'm
a second.
I might have been moving a little bit too far back.
Yeah, it might have been. All right, here. Let's rewind those videos some and let's finish this. God, this podcast has been like so ADD.
Crack and break
Anyway,
and bend and mend.
that's totally
With
okay, though.
these two measurements of
Covered
strength,
a lot
we're
of broad
easily able to
topics, yeah?
understand why hemp is stronger than steel. Hemp can hold almost twice the weight as steel before it cracks and breaks, and hemp can bend and mend almost 6 times better than steel. Now we understand why hemp is stronger than steel. Let's move on to part 4, where we look at how hemp is softer than silk. With hemp, everyone gets to win. Earth, humans, society, and humanity wins with hemp every time.
Wait, he didn't really explain how it's softer than silk, unless he's going to do that in the next video.
Wasn't this one just 60 seconds on why it's so strong? So maybe there is a 60 seconds why it's so soft.
He was saying all that stuff so fast that it almost went like way over my head. Actually, correction, that went way over my head because he was speaking so fast. My God.
I mean, that's the problem when you put yourself into like a time frame like that. He's probably known as like the 60-second guy. So now if he's like, man, I really need 80 seconds, nobody will ever watch this episode.
Right. The 120-second guy doesn't sound quite as cool.
Yeah. The struggles are real.
Yeah, if you're like the 60-second guy, you can literally brand yourself as the Minuteman.
Ooh, that's true.
It's like, hey, it's a Minuteman. Here, I'm going to explain to you about like why science is so awesome. Because science, you're able to do this, this, and that. The scientific method, you have a hypothesis, then you test the hypothesis, then you see whether or not it's true, and then you come to a conclusion. And then you're just like talking super fast like that. I couldn't even do that, man. My brain doesn't move that fast. XQC could probably do it.
That's like the whenever you go to like an auction house, etc. I don't know how anybody keeps track of the auctioneer. I'm just always like, okay, sure. Did I win? No, okay.
I'm actually able to kind of keep track of the auctioneer because he's just kind of like just repeating like over and over again, like super fast. Just like, okay, we're gonna start the bet at 45. Can I get a 45 here? 45 there? 45 there? Can I get a 45 here? Up there, over there, over there, here, there, everywhere. Can I get a 45? Here, you sir. Okay, 45. Let's increase the bid to 50. And then just moving on to that. As long as you know like what the current bid is, I think it's fine. All that other stuff is just kind of like filler.
It's true. Gotta keep the suspense up. Keep your heart rate going.
I couldn't do that, man. I would suffer from like such bad cotton mouth.
Cotton mouth, and then like, could you imagine getting a sick day as an auctioneer? Like, you know, as a streamer, you still sometimes like, sorry guys, my throat hurts a little bit. I'm not gonna be talking as much, but like auctioneer, you're done. Just go home.
Yeah,
they're gonna take you out back and shoot you.
Yes. Like recipes. Like you got laryngitis, we're just gonna throw you in the garbage.
You're useless to us. You have no purpose here.
We're gonna execute you. Just like it'll be like a scene. It'll be like from Bohemian Rhapsody. Just like put a gun to his head, pull the trigger, now he's dead. And then we're gonna throw you in the garbage can, and then like pour tons of like sulfuric acid or whatever that stuff they did in Breaking Bad to like melt bodies.
Yeah, I know the scene you're talking about with the bathtub.
I actually think it was hydrochloric acid.
I don't remember.
It was some sort of acid. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly.
It was a great series, though.
Yeah.
It's crazy how long it's been ended.
It has been ended for a really long time. Did you know that they're making...
about that.
Yeah. Huh? At least we have Better Call Saul.
That's true. Does help.
Better Call Saul is pretty good. But did you know they're actually making a theatrical release version of Breaking Bad?
Huh. I did not. That could be good.
I don't know if it's a sequel. I think it's like basically like the same story abridged, but it's kind of taking place in a different setting.
Huh.
Because I mean, like that story could have took place like anywhere. It didn't really like have to take place in New Mexico per se.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like you can make meth like anywhere. Like you could do it in like Northern California. You could do it in somewhere like New Hampshire. And the town that I used to live here in Montana, like there was like a really bad meth epidemic over there. Like you can make methamphetamine just from like household chemicals. But here, let's look this up. Let's see here, Breaking Bad movie. It's supposed to come out like next year.
I want to see it take place in like Hawaii, somewhere like really happy and upbeat.
Probably. But yeah, Vince Gilligan actually. Let's see here, Breaking Bad movie in the works from creator Vince Gilligan. It's probably just like teasing it. It's probably not going to say anything about the setting. I'm pretty sure they were actually talking about that on Watch Mojo. But anyway.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Internet. There you go. Thank you. Okay, let's switch scenes there so it looks pretty. You can see this on my Super Zenith. That's what I'm going to call it from now on, the Super Zenith. All right, there's a video? Video. Let's watch the video. Oh my god, the Titan games. The Titan games are going to be super good, okay? Like, I don't care what everybody else thinks. You have The Rock, and then you have Golden Boy doing casting, okay? It's going to be amazing.
Definitely, I wasn't super interested in it. I saw the...
At 50 years old, you can be strong.
And then you saw the what?
I saw The Rock in it, and I was like, oh, well, in that case...
right?
Sold.
Right? Then you have to see it. And then Golden Boy, because I know him from Overwatch League, that he's done tons of stuff for like MLG. He's done tons of like Fortnite casting, so I'm just like, yeah, esports is getting represented. Even though we're already on ESPN. All right, anyway, let's watch this video.
So let me clue you in. The iconic phrasing that came out of Breaking Bad are always a surprise to me. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. When I read it,
I am the danger. That's one of my favorite scenes in all of Breaking Bad.
I am the one who knocks.
I honestly, I feel like that really defined like the whole series. Like at the moment he said that, it really like this is what the series is now.
Right, like that was the climax.
Breaking Bad ranks pretty high for me.
Breaking Bad is probably the high water mark.
Okay, here, let's talk about that pizza throw. Because like that happened on, from what I understand, that happened on total accident.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like he just like he just threw it up there and like all of a sudden like it just like magically like stayed up there. And then they were just like, okay, let's keep that because we're not going to be able to recreate that. If I remember correctly, that's what they were talking about in like some documentary.
That's too funny. Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know if that house is actually still in existence. They might have sold it or they actually tore that down.
I hope they sold it. I'm sure they probably made a bank off of that alone.
Oh, yeah. I really hope
Be able to
someone's
say I
living
was
in that
living in
house
that
now.
house.
That'd be super dope.
Yeah.
But wait, I don't think Bryan Cranston actually fixed the bunch rot, though, underneath the house.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, what's going on, Ray and Jay? I'm pretty sure that account is 2 different people. Or it's just like you have like 2 names that are interchangeable. Like someone that has a nickname and then his birth name. Pretty much like everybody on Twitch. But anyway, what's up? We're just talking about Breaking Bad. Anyway, let's finish this video.
Questionably one of the most influential shows ever made.
Breaking Bad
yes.
is just such a beautifully orchestrated arc.
This show is so freaking
The
good.
show set a new standard.
I
It is
feel
very
like
good.
5 seasons.
Honestly,
they knew
especially
exactly
Cranston,
what
like
they were
he
doing.
came out of nowhere in my opinion. Like he was very
Just
good
brilliant.
in Malcolm in the Middle, etc. Like he was always a great actor in my opinion, but for a role like that, that was just a huge change for him.
Oh, yeah. And he's really a comedian at heart, yet he's doing like this big drama story. I just think it's super interesting to me. Yeah, it's always cool when I see comedians like do drama. Like Jordan Peele directing a horror movie. Like that's interesting to me. Yeah, like Bryan Cranston being the lead in like probably one of the greatest like TV dramas ever created. Like that's interesting to me when he's normally like a funny man. Like you see him as Hal and Malcolm in the Middle, and then you see him as Walter White. It's just like it's hard to believe that it's the exact same person.
Oh no, definitely agree. I'd like to see a lot more actors kind of branch out and try to do more work. I'd love to see like Jim Carrey do like a good heavy drama or something like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Is Ray and Jay actually your girlfriend, Duel?
Yes.
Ah, interesting. I see, said the blind man who couldn't see at all. And then he picked up his hammer and saw. Better call Saul. Anyway. I don't think there's really much left of this video. Oh, it's halfway done.
There are approximately like
Nothing but blue
234
sky.
really great moments on Breaking Bad, so to narrow it down is next to impossible.
There's so many amazing moments in this show. Oh my god.
This is a show of moments. Every single episode has at least one scene that completely changes the game.
To see Hank die.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
Oh yeah.
I am the one who knocks.
And then seeing Walter die at the end. And then like what's his name? Jesse's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Like literally Walter could have saved her, but like he just kind of like closed his eyes and just kind of like let it happen. Cuz he knew like it was going to be like a distraction for Jesse, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, I think at the time like they were taking a hiatus. And then Walter was working with someone else, wasn't that?
I think so. Yeah, I think he wanted the girlfriend to die because he needed Jesse to come back to him. So he was kind of like, all right, fall over and die now.
And I totally forgot when Hank died. Wasn't that like the second to last episode?
I don't remember.
Shoot, I have no
Something
idea
like
either.
that.
I don't have a clue. Darn it. Yeah. I need to start watching Better Call Saul, because Better Call Saul should be good. But I never get time to actually like sit down and like watch TV. Like usually if
Yeah.
I have downtime, like, and I'm not like doing like house chores, like I'm usually like either reading or like watching YouTube videos, or I'm playing a video game, or I'm usually like playing a video game that listening to an audiobook or a podcast at the exact same time.
Dude, you do audiobooks? That's awesome.
Oh,
I'm a
dude,
huge fan of audiobooks.
I love audiobooks. Audible.com. Like I
Same.
had a membership for like the past 3 months. What have I been
nice.
reading? I've been reading The Screwtape Letters by C.S. Lewis.
Okay.
Even though I usually read nonfiction, like I'm partway through a leadership book called Extreme Ownership, which is like leadership lessons from U.S. Navy SEALs and like what they learned on combat, and they're applying it to the business world. And then there's a book that I finished. It was Maynard James Keenan's autobiography. It was called Perfect Union of Contrary Things, just because there's so much stuff that he does. You know, he plays in 3 different bands. He's a winemaker. You know, he's done like tons of like comedy and acting, and then he's also like writing a book as well. And then he also like trains Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So he's like doing like all that stuff. And it's just kind of like talking about like his life and then how he's able to like balance all those things out. It's super cool.
That is awesome. That was very cool.
Yeah. And then I just recently got a book with my Audible credit that's called The War of Art. So it's obviously taken from Sun Tzu's Art of War, but it's like talking about like, you know, creative people, like artists, comedians, you know, writers, screenplay writers, you know, like kind of like the problems with like discipline when it comes to like doing that work. And it's like the problem with those guys is like actually sitting down and doing the work.
Yeah.
What's the other book? Yeah. What's the other book I was reading? I think it was The Mental Game of Poker. That book taught me so much about like emotional, like that, and then like working in nursing, like taught me so much about like emotional management and stress management.
What?
But like The Mental Game of Poker, like specifically talk about like emotional management and like mindset when it comes to competition. Like it's not really exclusively to poker. Like golfers like use that same system like all the time, and you could apply that to other sports. Like you could apply that to esports. You could apply that to like, you know, like if you're an Overwatch player, if you're a Counter-Strike player, even if you're like playing like Call of Duty or Fortnite, like you could apply like those principles like to that esport. And then you could also do the exact same thing in like physical sports. If you're an MMA fighter, or if you're doing like some other form of martial art, you could apply like those concepts to them as well. If you're a basketball player, but yeah, like that book taught me a lot. I think I'm only like halfway through, but like Jared Tendler, he's an amazing guy. You can find like, you can go on YouTube and find like podcasts that he's done. Like he did one with Daniel Negreanu, where it was just like really edifying, I thought.
What?
And then I have right? And then I have a stack of physical books that I just need to actually get done with. Like a lot of them are like Christian theology and philosophy books that I just need to go through, but I don't think I'll like ever get through. It's going to take me like a good decade to do it.
I definitely get that. I used to be a very avid physical book reader, but honestly, since I got my job, we used to live about 40 minutes from my position, so I had 40 minutes one way, so an hour and 30 basically of just audiobook time, and I just was like, you know what, I'm going to take this driving time, I'm going to listen to a book, I'm going to be productive, I'm going to kind of expand my horizons. And I honestly, I'm much more of a fiction person than a nonfiction, but I've completed a lot of books that I've been meaning to read, and a lot of great series, so definitely it's been really nice.
I don't know, I like nonfiction just because I like to learn things and just become a more intelligent person. And I feel like a lot of nonfiction books have really helped me become like a more intelligent, more knowledgeable person. It's like that, and like podcasts as well. That's kind of like my like total heart behind this podcast, is kind of like make people better thinkers, really, almost. Because I'm not really I'm not consistently a good thinker per se. Like sometimes I have like my really dumb moments, and I have my moments where I'm really having a hard time like formulating a thought, where it's just like, shoot, like I know something about this particular subject, but I can't really articulate it out because I'm having trouble like trying to dig out the information from my brain.
Yeah.
Essentially. Oh yeah, Oblivion, what's up? It's a raptor. Yes. I'm interviewing a raptor today. It's great. And I am streaming really early. I got my job schedule and my sleep schedule kind of switched around. I'm not on nights anymore. Like I'm working the evening shift now, so I have like my mornings and like early afternoons like I'm free. So I thought, hey, I'm free 10 a.m. Let's do this podcast.
Hey, it worked out.
It worked out really well. Worked out really, really well. Were you planning on streaming today? Or did you just stream earlier and then you stopped?
No, I honestly, with family coming around, I wanted to make sure I cleaned up the house. So we were doing a bit of chores and then took a break for this, and then I'll probably just do some finishing touches before they get here. Because they're my family is more in the New Jersey area.
Oh, right on.
Being West Virginia, so they got about a 6-hour, 7-hour drive.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not too far.
Yeah, it's not compared to Ray's family's in Florida, so we have about a 13-hour drive every time we need to go see them.
Oh dear God. Yeah, that's how it is from northwestern North Dakota to just northwestern Montana. That's a 13-hour drive just straight through.
Damn.
Well, Montana's huge.
That's true.
Geologically speaking, it's a big place, even though there's only about 1 million people that live here. But just tiny. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's super cool. Raptor talons go for a lot on the black market. Why not just feed them narcoberries and then tame them? So that way you could just ride them around everywhere. Oh, wait, we don't play Ark anymore. We can't do that. Shoot. I didn't think that through.
I can't believe a new Ark expansion came out. I think it's the last one, too.
Oh, yeah, Extinction. I've been meaning to check that out, but I haven't gotten a chance yet.
Seems interesting.
Yeah,
I'm a little worried, though,
really
because Wildcard's going off to Atlas, the new MMO pirate game thing. So I feel like Ark is going to get dropped real hard.
It's probably going to get dropped really hard, even though it's a great game and a great concept, but it's like such a grind fest.
Yeah. I do appreciate that you can mess with the sliders, though. You can make it a little bit.
Right. Is that a shot of me? I'll get another server. Don't tempt me. Oofta. I might have to now. No, I'm just kidding. Why play Ark when you could just play Overwatch or Smite or Battlefield even?
Honestly, I would play the hell out of Ark if I didn't feel like every time I logged off, I ran the thing every.
Right, exactly. That's like the big gripe with Ark. Like even on unofficial servers, like you could still like still lose all your stuff, and it's still kind of a grind to get all that stuff back. Even if you have like offline raid, like if you're a PvPer and you have offline raid protect, like even then it's just kind of like a lot of people won't even like have that set up because people can like when you're getting raided, the whole tribe could just log out and like they would be protected technically. You know, you could set up server rules where like, yeah, you can't do that.
Honestly, on PC, it seems to be more controlled where like there is.
Yeah, your microphone is cutting out super hard, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Is this any better?
Yeah. It's
okay.
I think it's probably your internet, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, anyway. That's all good. We'll make it work. We will try to make it work, my guy.
It's just the like at least for PC, the offline raid protect a lot of settings for it. Like you can set it up that it's unprotected for like 30 minutes after the last person that logs off. So at least in that regard, like as long as you're a fast raider, it's not so bad. But if you're gonna raid like an alpha, a shit ton of stuff, you're not gonna be able to get halfway through.
Oh, you know. Then again, like nobody just like casually raids the alpha tribe unless they have like tons of stuff.
It's true.
But then again, like if the alpha tribe is smart, they'll be able to see like that other tribe preparing, and you know, like gossip could go around the server, just like, yeah, we're gonna raid you.
Yeah.
Like I've had that happen before.
Honestly, I usually just play a lone wolf. I usually make a shit ton of little 1x1 metal shacks with a smithy and a bunch of more pestles, and I just make the rifles and go around and just pop people.
No, even that's a grind fest, man. You gotta go with the tribe. Like you're always like way more protected, and you're able to get, you know, like if you lose all your stuff just because of like you were gonna go tame a T-Rex and then you just get like swallowed, or like or like a wyvern comes up or whatever. But then again, like you would be able to get your stuff like back like pretty easily because you have like this huge like supply. Like I've had a tribe like that where it was just kind of like we had like a big locker room of stuff. Like there was always stuff in the smithy. There was always stuff in like these big like storage containers. We're always able to get like, because we had like storage like underneath water. We were always able to get like oil down there because there was like so many oil deposits down there.
Yeah.
That was super dope. So that was super dope. That was fun.
Yeah, no, I've only ever, at most, I've been in like a 3 to 4 man tribe. I've never been in any like substantial tribe. So for me, I find that tribe size, it's just we're too easy target. Anyone with a decent sized tribe just rolls through us, and then Alpha doesn't stop them because they're like, well, it's just one of the little tribes. Who cares? It's like, all right.
All right. Well, then again, I was an unofficial guy, so you never really had like a true Alpha tribe, even though the Alpha tribe is technically like whoever owns the server.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But it was great. Like you can go like super deep underwater, and you can get what are they called? Those silica pearls. You can get silica pearls. You can get oil without having to have like any like scuba gear on, and you could just like stay down there forever, and you could like move like super quickly. Like that was a lot of fun for me.
Sounds pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun. I don't know if the server that I'm talking about is still in existence anymore. There was a PvP server on Xbox that was called Danzark.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that was hearing Danzark actually.
That was a fun server to play on. But yeah, now we just play Overwatch and Battlefield.
It's true.
Yeah. What was the deal with
the log off safely?
Right. What was the deal with that Battle Royale mode on Battlefield 5? Because I've heard you guys talk about it on the DMG podcast a few months ago.
It's gonna I personally don't know too much about it. I'm not a huge fan about it. I know it's gonna roll out in spring. It just sounds mostly like the same generic Battle Royale experience. Basically, they're gonna have kind of like a bomber fly over, everyone jump out. Same kind of experience. There's gonna be shelling. There's gonna be the same weapons. I don't know if they're gonna do so much about like class things, because at least with Battlefield, obviously the medic is the one that's able to put on the med pack. The one that wants ammo is the support. So like, I don't know how well that's gonna work out. I imagine they're probably just gonna make it so that you can pick up a box, and then regardless of class, you can keep it with you and put it down when needed. Which should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, from what I heard, they might actually do like teams of 5. And then just like have everyone together on a map, and they're like everybody's just like a part of a team of 5, which I think will be really, really interesting.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Battlefield's always been a huge push for the squad, and I think most squads. There's only a few that it was only 4, but quite a few of them are 5. So.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, there was a trailer that I was watching. And it was like from EA, and there was like one dude like describing like all like the new features within Battlefield 5, and I think that's the format for the Battle Royale mode. Is like a teams of 5 of like 65 people or 100 people like split up in teams of 5 or something like that. And it's just kind of like classic Battle Royale, just last man standing.
It's pretty sweet. Honestly, I think that's a smart move too, because I feel like there's gonna be more reward factor in that. Because I mean, teams of 5, and like you said, if there's 100, there's 20 teams. So the likelihood of you winning is 1 in 20. Whereas Fortnite, if you're solo, it's 1 in 100. So I feel like a lot of people walk away with like a bad taste in their mouth because they're not winners. Whereas like you may not be the best player, but your squad was really good, and they kind of picked you up where you weren't great, and kind of gives you that victory still.
I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about Battle Royale, is that you don't necessarily have to be like the best mechanically skilled person within Battle Royale. You just gotta know how to survive. Yeah. Like it's last man standing, the goal is to survive.
Sure.
Like that was the cool thing about it, because like PUBG, and before then it was like another Battle Royale mode that guy made. Like that was heavily based off of DayZ. Like the whole Battle Royale genre in general, it was like basically like a mod within a mod. It was like a specific game mode within DayZ that you could play. And then H1Z1 came out, and that was like its own like survival zombie game. And then there was like a Battle Royale mode added to that was called King of the Kill, where it's basically like the same concept. And then Brendan Green left that, and then he started working on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And then Fortnite just kind of like happened. It's so interesting, because they worked like super hard on the PvE version, and then like they decided, you know what, let's just make a Battle Royale mode for this, just for fun, just to see what happens. And then like they only worked on that for like 3 months.
Yeah.
Like 3 months, they had it rolling.
I remember seeing Fortnite when it first came out, etc. Like there was clips, etc. And oh, this is really interesting, but I don't think I'll pick it up. I'm not really one for. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, it just out of nowhere just blew up.
Right. Man, I don't think anybody knew Fortnite was really going to be like that successful as it is now. Like now it's just kind of like a cultural phenomenon, and like the stigma behind like all the things behind Fortnite is just kind of like, yeah, it like almost makes me ashamed to be a gamer, like almost. Because it's like the same thing with like Minecraft. It's just kind of like there's these like two like really really popular kids games, and like kids just kind of like eat it up like breakfast, almost.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it depends. Like I see both sides of it. Like I know some people, kids, the Fortnite dances, they're like, oh, really? But at the same time, like it's good to see kids unite behind something too. I mean, I would say for our generation, it was still like Pokemon, etc. Like we were the same way. We just didn't have a dance for Pokemon.
Nope, we just had the cards. We just had our Game Boys playing Pokemon, and then we had the anime. We'd listen to the theme song. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I don't know. I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh guy growing up. Like, hence my name Yugi.
Yeah.
Even though the Pokemon video games are great, and then Pokemon as a TCG is actually pretty fantastic. I just wasn't really a fan of the cartoon.
See, honestly, I really enjoyed the cartoon. I only really enjoyed the first game. After that, I just kind of got...
The first Pokemon game? So, like, Red and Blue?
Yeah, I liked Red and Blue. After that, I just didn't care for it.
Well, Red and Blue, like, that's a classic. What was that?
Sorry. Belle is deciding she wants attention.
That was...
I apologize.
Are you sure that's a dog? That sounded like a mini Sasquatch.
That is a 100-pound pit bull mix.
Part pit bull, part some other historic creature. I mean, you are a raptor, so who knows what it really is.
That's true. Part
Right?
Sabretooth.
Right, part Sabretooth. It probably is. Yeah. Only Bigfoots live in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I live, essentially. That's where all the Sasquatches live.
That's all right. We have Mothman in West Virginia, so we'll make do.
Right. Oh yeah, West Virginia. Like you got the Smoky Mountains, or like somewhere near that little area, the New England area.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, Joe Rogan actually does believe it's Sasquatch. Like no joke. Then again, like there's a lot of like hoaxes and conspiracy theories that I feel like he kind of like ate up to a certain extent, or he was just like super fascinated by. Like for the longest time, he believed that the moon landing was faked, just because he saw like the evidences of it, just like the photographs. Because there's some photographs that just look awfully similar, and they just look like edited. It just kind of looks like the background is just taken out, and it's the exact same photo. On certain things. That's why he believed like the moon landing was fake for like such a super long time. At least he doesn't believe the Earth is flat.
There you go. Yeah, baby steps, right?
Right. At least Joe Rogan is smart enough. I mean, Joe Rogan is actually like a really intelligent guy, but. And then with 9/11 too, it's like really fascinating when the second plane crashes into that second tower. I think that's like the East Tower or the West Tower. Like as soon as it like goes into the plane, like it looks like a controlled demolition. But then again, I think there actually were bombs on the plane though, so that probably explained why that looks like a controlled demolition, because it was a controlled demolition.
Yeah.
But it almost didn't really seem like it came from the plane itself though.
I personally, I haven't
Have you
done
seen
9/11 recently.
Well, here, I'm actually going to look up this video because it's kind of interesting. Let's check this out. Alright, 9/11 West Tower. Alright. I'm just going to look up second plane. See what pops up. Second plane hits South Tower. I think this is what I need to see. Alright, I just need to find when it actually happens.
Naturally, you will guess and you will speculate and perhaps ask the question.
Well, they did give you like an hour-long clip.
Right. Oh, that's like a half-hour long clip.
Wow, that's still...
I think this is the aftermath of it.
Okay.
I don't know if you actually see it collapsing, though.
At the same time.
And like the way it collapses, too, is just kind of like... It's just like almost like totally vertical. Alright, footage of the South Tower getting hit. Here we go. Here, let's... I didn't mean to full screen this here. I meant to drag this over here. Full screen that. Full screen that. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Alright, let's watch this. Yeah, it almost seems kind of like a controlled demolition.
Wow.
Yeah. Put your feels bad mans in the chat. Pretty please. Though, for real though, that was that really was a tragic event. Like, I'm not trying to downplay any of that at all, just because like, oh, there's this little fascinating thing. Oh, it happened like almost 20 years ago. It doesn't matter now.
No, agreed.
It's weird that
it's surreal to still see it, to be honest.
Oh God, like looking back on it, like what I was like 4, I think, if I remember correctly. And like I was seeing that. And I think if I like looking back on it, like I distinctly remember like looking at that and being like, okay, why does this matter? This is happening in New York. Like everyone around me is like seeing that and they just have like their jaws just on the floor. Like, what the hell is going on? And like me, I'm just like, we're in North Dakota. This is in New York City. Like, shut up. Why does it matter? And like now as an adult looking back on that event, I'm just kind of like, okay, this isn't like New York versus North Dakota. This is like us as a nation.
No,
like, our nation is under attack.
I think I was like 8 at the time, and it was still, even then, was kind of the same thing. Like, I understood the destruction, I understood the damage, but I didn't understand like this doesn't happen in the U.S. That was the part that didn't click. I was just like, I mean, because especially like at least at 8, I was like, I've seen things on the news, I've seen things happen. So it was just one of those things like, it's unfortunate, but why are we devastated so much? I was like, oh, it's because it's us. Like,
right.
It's
us,
one thing
US.
to see another country, but it's our country that got this hit. And so I was like,
right.
Oh, I see.
It's fascinating like that. Like when you're a little kid and you see like a tragic event that doesn't, like, unless it affects you personally, like if it was like a tragic event that's like showed on the news and you remember seeing that, and it's just like, oh, why does this matter? Then when you look back at that as an adult, and it's just like, oh, this is actually like a really serious thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if some kids were like that with like the Boston Marathon bombings, because I remember being in school and then like there was a TV that had like the coverage on, like live coverage of the Boston Marathon bombings. I was just kind of like, oh, that's pretty intense. Because I mean, like I was like 16, 17 at the time, so I was able to like, I was old enough to actually like understand.
Right.
But like being a 4-year-old, seeing the planes crash into the Twin Towers, you know, when like you're that young and your brain is like not really like that well developed, like you know what I'm talking about? Like it's kind of harder to understand then, but like as an adult, it's just kind of like, okay.
And honestly, I feel like we're obviously talking about tragic events, but I feel like that's even a significant thing for just any kind of like monumental event, because I think like it almost, because of the way it works and the way our minds work, it almost helps inspire other events later on the line. Like if you think about the moon landing, as an adult, if you knew the moon landing, holy hell, this is a big accomplishment, etc. But by being a child during the time of the moon landing, you're just thinking to yourself like, so what? Okay, we've been talking about getting to the moon for so long, and now they're automatically setting the bar further than what we previously thought we could accomplish.
Right, like as a kid, it's just kind of like, oh, like who the heck cares? Like it's impossible to like really understand like as a kid, but as an adult, it's just kind of like, okay, right. I had like a totally different thought in my head, and then it like totally went away. Oh well. I swear I actually have like ADHD or something like that. Because I was like looking at my phone, like all of a sudden I was just kind of like, wait, what? What were we talking about again? Like I had a thought and then I like immediately forgot it because I was distracted. Super weird.
Happens to the best of us.
Feels bad, man. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't have ADHD. Maybe it's just like a lack of discipline.
Depending on who you talk to, some people would argue that's one and the same.
Right. I just don't want to be like on Adderall though. Because I feel like Adderall like over time can actually like really mess up your liver.
I personally haven't done my proper research on Adderall. I've been lucky enough not to need it.
I'll probably have to like do some research. Like for me, when it comes to like improving like focus and cognitive function, like caffeine is really up there. Nootropics are definitely one, and just like my diet, just because like, you know, I get like a lot of omega-3s in my diet that really helps out with brain function. There's like, you know, MCT oil really helps out with brain function. Coconut oil like really is able to do that as well. But I think with Bulletproof's brain octane oil, I think it's able to produce, it's able to burn fat faster because you're producing more ketones, I think, with the brain octane oil than it is with MCT or coconut oil. Or it's something like that. I don't know at the top of my head. But I mean, it's good stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah. You just got to be careful, though, with not having too much MCT oil. Like, otherwise, like, your stomach just, like, gets destroyed. And you just get, like, awful diarrhea. It's terrible.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, it's awful.
I don't know if brains are worth excessive amounts of diarrhea.
Right. Like, you're a grown-ass man, and you're crapping your pants. Like, how awful is that? I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Comes at great cost.
Right. Dull is a dinosaur? Yes, Dull is a dinosaur. It's confirmed.
How's it going, Kobe?
He used to be a snail, and then he got a species reassignment surgery. I just offended like 5 different people in the chat, and there's 6 people in the chat, so yeah. Everybody's offended by that joke except for me. Feels good.
I should be the turkey just because of Kobe's here.
Right. I started making furry jokes just because Kobe is here. Oh my god. Make her upset.
Poor Kobe.
Yeah. I'm not a furry, but I am kind of a homewrecker. Say rar, rar. By the way, that episode of the podcast, that the VOD is available, and then also you can download it for free in MP3 format on SoundCloud. There's a Nightbot command for that. ! SoundCloud. Takes you to the SoundCloud link. SoundCloud.com/Shenanigans Festival. Anyway. Yugi, stop. Please no furry.
Roar or riot.
Yeah. Poor Kobe. Yeah. We love her. That's why we pick on her. That's why yeah. Yeah. My brain is fried right now. We've gone on for like 2 hours. Just like non-stop talking. Well, we did take a break, but my life, Kobe, your life is not that bad. Come on. You have so many people who love you. Like, take it as a compliment when people call you a furry or people call you a homewrecker, because people know about your existence and they appreciate you, hence why they're making that joke. How's it been so far? It's been really, really good.
Yeah,
Shoot,
good.
what were some other things I wanted to talk about? Oh, yeah, I remember. I remember reading in your Twitch bio that you have a history of mental health? Like mental health issues? Yeah, weren't you someone that struggled with depression or something like that?
Yeah.
Here, I'll let you talk.
Sorry. So I had, you never fully get rid of depression, but I had a lot of symptoms of depression from about 13, 14 to about 21. To give context to that, because I'm comfortable discussing it.
Mm-hmm.
I burned, suicidal ideation,
Wow.
Stop being a functional human being, all the 9 yards. I was lucky in the sense that even though I was kind of suicidal and didn't really know what to do with my life, I knew that I needed to keep maintaining it, because like you can't just sit there and do nothing, because if you sit there and do nothing, then you really do have nothing better than to kill yourself. Whereas I saw it as like, well, I don't know if they'll get better, and I really don't care if it gets better, but I'm going to keep functioning because on the off chance it does. So I did that for a lot of years. And then ultimately, which was very like not the right reason that I got help. But I was dating a girl who I thought she had issues as well. Kind of like I felt like I was helping her out some, and it turned out she was like, no, you're the shit show. And that was really eye-opening for me. As petty it is, like, I don't know how to say it, like narcissistic as that is, that was like, wow. So with that having happened, I was okay, I need to kind of get myself straight. And so I went through counseling, did a lot of counseling. Didn't feel like that helped me too much, but then I was medicated. I don't remember the medicine off the top of my head. But I was on medicine for about a year, and that kind of got me set straight enough that I was able to kind of put my life together. And then having life together, I was able to medication, and I've been doing well since. I can't say that I don't experience like bouts of depression or anything like that, but it's not nearly anything as intense as when I was a teenager.
Right. And then everybody kind of goes through like low moments in life anyway, but there's like different like I feel like there's a difference between feeling depressed and then actually like being medically diagnosed with depression. Like I am a depressed person, like medically depressed, clinically depressed, excuse me. Yeah. So was there other? Oh, here, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think the difference for a lot of people is, a lot of people say that they're depressed. They're like, you can feel down for a while, but there's a huge difference in depression down, in the sense that like when you're down, it's just like things haven't been going right in a sense. Like there's a lot of things put together, but depression is feeling that way all of the time, regardless if the context is good. So like you can have a great birthday party, you can have a great life, you have a great family. It doesn't matter. You're still feeling down. You still feel awful.
Right. You still feel like, you know, life is just kind of like the skies are always gray, essentially, right? I gotcha. What were some things that helped out? Like you said you got counseling and you said you got some medication, but you don't remember the medication. Was there like mindset changes? Was there, you know, kind of like, you know, routine changes that kind of helped you out with that as well?
Honestly, the mindset changes, I would say, really came about with the medication. Because the counseling was a lot of processing things that I hadn't processed. It was things that like I knew I was upset about, things that I was stuck on, and just personal problems that I knew I personally get past. And we discussed it with the counselor, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like any resolution ever came to it. It was just, okay, now another person knows about it, but that's fine. But I at least felt with the medication, like it changed my mindset. I wasn't as exhausted. I wasn't as frustrated. I was able to just see things a little bit clearer. And because of that, I was kind of able to process a bit more about like, all right, things might not be perfect, but hey, you're still a good student. Or, oh, this might be an issue, but hey, we still have this. And like, it was just enough to give me context. And I guess the best way to put it would be like, when you've been depressed for so long, you forget what it feels like to be a functioning normal person. So having that and just getting back to it was like, okay, let's not slip back again. Let's sit down, focus, and make sure that don't let myself get that down. When I know I'm getting that down, I need to sit down and process that emotion rather than just putting it to the side and be like, oh, it'll be okay. Like, I feel some people can kind of offhandedly bottle up their emotions and like, oh, I'll handle that another time when it's more convenient. Whereas like, I know I have to embrace it. I have to just accept, okay, we're upset. What's going on? How can we fix it? I have to attack the problem rather than just kind of like passively put it off.
Right. I don't know, with me, just because like working in nursing, it taught me a lot about emotional management, because you have moments that are incredibly stressful, that are incredibly frustrating, that you deal with on a very, very regular basis. Like working with an Alzheimer's patient or working with the dementia patients that's in like the later stages of dementia, like it's really hard to have a conversation with them. It's really hard to like try to get them to do like really, really simple things, like something as simple as sitting down on a couch. It's really hard to get them to do that just because like their brain is like trailed off at like either like, you know, it's really like hard to understand because they can't really express their thoughts super well because they have like a hard time like really communicating. Those moments could be super frustrating. And then like it could be like really stressful, and it could cause people to like go into like a panic mode when someone gets seriously injured, or when someone starts choking, and then like you need to like do something about that. Moments like that, like emergency moments like that, it's like super important to like stay level-headed and calm, just because like emotion like plays such a really huge role with the decision-making process. So like it's always like those moments where you're trying to access information you don't use on a regular basis, because like if you don't, like this could happen. And it's just like learning how to like stay calm in that moment. There's nothing really wrong with like being stressed out or being freaked out in that moment, but it's just like I feel like there's appropriate times to like express specific emotions, and there's times where it's not appropriate to express specific emotions. Like expressing stress in that moment could actually like I said, like emotion plays a huge role in decision making. That's what I learned from the mental game of poker. That's how like, you know, like these big like top tier poker players, you know, they're able to like keep their nerves under control, like even when they're at the final table and, you know, of like a huge tournament like the World Series of Poker main event, and you know they're actually like, you know, like down like the bottom of the standings, and they're like on the verge of like losing out, or they've gone through like 5 different like bad hands in a row, and there's like millions of dollars on the line, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
no, absolutely.
But yeah, like I was able to apply that a lot in nursing, and was able to like kind of like communicate that to like my coworkers as well. Because I mean, like when you're in that emergency moment and you're expressing stress in that moment, like it can affect like your decision making process. Like, okay, like I need to do CPR on this person. How do I do CPR again? Like when you're super stressed out, it's really hard to access that information. That's why they'll tell you like like, hey, when like something angers you, don't express that anger in front of patients. But like there's a place where you could go express that anger. Like you can go in the break room and then just kind of like let it out there almost. Like whether it's just like, holy shit, that was super scary, or oh my god, that was disgusting, or just like that fucking asshole that I had to deal with. Yeah. Because I mean, I feel like it's an act of professionalism as well, just like knowing how to like keep that calm, like in that moment, and then like find another time to like express that emotion. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seems like to me.
No, I agree.
But then again, I'm not someone that necessarily like struggled with like serious mental health issues per se. Like I struggled with low self-esteem throughout like my entire like high school career. Like even like almost now, even in my 20s, like I still have bouts where I have like low self-esteem. And then like there'll be times where I get like really stressed out. There'll be times where I actually like feel kind of depressed just because like, like I'm at a specific place in my life, but I know like life has a chance to like always get better. Like I feel like what helped me with like a lot of things is just like knowing like tomorrow's a brand new day. Like even though this happened, life still moves on at the end of the day. It's just kind of like that thought process like really helped me a lot. But I don't know. That's just me. Right. I feel like there's just like certain things that work for certain people, but also really don't work at all for other people.
Yeah.
Like it's the same thing with dieting. Like certain diets like work for certain people, and then like in certain exercise programs work for certain people, but then like you do like the same thing with another person, like it doesn't work just because like their metabolism, how they're able to metabolize food, how they're able to like absorb all those nutrients. Like there's some people that just like can't eat like tons of carbs just because they just get like super bonked, and there's other people's like could just like eat like a huge bowl of rice like every single meal and then just be like fired up. Like it's super weird, but yeah. I don't
Sorry.
know. No, you're okay. I was talking quite a bit. Yeah. Here, go ahead. I've been talking way too much. You start talking.
I agree. There's different like stances on a lot of it, and honestly, I like you said, especially at least with mental health, it's such a wide spectrum. Because I know some people that struggle with depression that like for them it doesn't help them to think about there's another day, because that almost brings up another sense of dread. It's like,
oh my god, like tomorrow could be even worse than today.
Right.
So
I think that definitely is like a part of like helping people with their issues, is kind of understanding their perspective and understanding like where they feel. For instance, I won't name any names or anything, but one person I was helping with their depression, they also cut, and a very common thing for those that cut is there's kind of like the ideation of the tool that you use. Like a lot of people think like, oh, cutters, they'll use a blade for anything. Like, no, it's almost always a specific blade. There's almost always a specific one that you go to for comfort. And so one of the most important steps to make is to get rid of it. If you can get rid of it and progress without it, then the cutting goes down drastically. I'm not going to say that it won't relapse. They almost always do. But the attachment doesn't get made with the second blade. So that alone usually drastically helps someone go from cutting to, you might, I can't say that they're not depressed anymore, but at least they're not self-harming anymore.
Right. That's interesting. I never thought about it like that. I thought it was just kind of like, someone that's just like, is just super low, and they just kind of like, I don't know, like they find like comfort in pain. Like it's super strange to me.
Everyone does it for different reasons. And generally where you cut also kind of defines what you're looking for. If it's like on the wrist or anything like that, that's more for attention or suicide, depending on which way you're going. But there's others that, like, for instance, myself, most of my scars are on my shoulders. I wasn't really looking for anyone to see it.
Interesting.
So for me, it was kind of the best put it is like, depression, especially to that level, is more you hate yourself so much that you're trying to destroy and deface yourself. It's much like someone puts graffiti on a campaign poster or defaces a statue. It's like doing the same but to yourself.
Interesting. So it was counseling didn't really help you, but it kind of like opened you up to like new things. Wasn't that what you were?
Counseling generally didn't do much of anything personally, other than
Right. That's what you were
the
saying. I was just making sure.
counselor associated me with a psychiatrist who then was able to medicate me. And I think like I said, it just seemed like the medication was important for me to get like a new outlook. But again, I'm not saying counseling is not significant. I do recommend, like I always suggest to someone to go to a counselor. Because again, same like myself, if the counseling doesn't help, then you can always seek out medication.
Right. And I mean, like, venting for some people like really helps. Like, they have like an outlet to go to just kind of like vent and let go of these emotions. Like, some people, like, all they need is that, and then they just automatically feel better. They just never really had a place where they could properly like express their emotions. Like, I could see a lot of people doing something like that, but I imagine for other people, like maybe yourself, it's like something that's like rooted, like it's a problem that's rooted much deeper than that.
I agree.
Essentially,
and
right?
I think part of it also was like, for me, I think counseling might have been very beneficial if I did it early. But because I did it so much later into the line, it was like, I already know I have these problems. I've been processing it for 10 years now. What are you going to do that's going to tell me it any differently? Whereas if I had gone to a counselor maybe in the first year, I could have approached it, realized it was an issue, and quashed it right away.
Interesting. I wonder if cannabis would actually be useful in, you know, like medicating people with like depression. Well, obviously it helps out a lot with anxiety, but like cannabis, like CBD, for example, like it's such a mood enhancer. Like, I wonder if someone is like battling about depression, like I wonder if that would actually like help them out.
I personally don't have an experience with it, so I wouldn't be able to answer. I do know that for an individual who had severe depression, he actually used LSD. And LSD actually, like, it was weird. Like doing the interview with him, he takes LSD, but it doesn't affect him to like the party drug level. It just puts him to a functional human being level.
That's
like,
interesting.
Instead of just being like ultra depressed and suicidal, he like all those clear, and he just functions as a normal human being at that point. Like, he's not tripping balls or anything like that. He's just set straight.
I feel like psychedelics can actually be beneficial when they're taken in small amounts and they're taken like under medical supervision. Yeah, like maybe like not necessarily like in an exam room, but like, you know, you have like people that are like watching you, like seeing like, because not everybody's gonna react to LSD like the same way. Like some people like your friend, for example, is gonna be super fine. Like other people, like they're just gonna be like hopping off the walls, just like, what the hell is happening right now? Yeah.
Brains, man. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it is crazy stuff, man. Just like the world is, and just like the world of cannabis too, just like how potent it is as a medicine, yet it's something that grows in nature and exists in nature.
It's true.
It's true. And like the many uses for it too, like anxiety, like, you know, pain, you know, it's such a great like pain manager. And like for some people, like the THC really helps as well with the pain, because then like they just like take an edible and then like all of a sudden like everything is gone. Like they just feel like totally numb. Yeah. My only issue with marijuana is people that just smoke it just for the THC high. Not because like it's something they actually need. It's just like, you know, they want to like burn out and get a high. You know, it's no different than like someone who wants to take tramadol just to feel like loopy, or they want to take like oxycodone or like any other kind of narcotic like that. Not because they have pain, you know, not because they have anxiety or anything like that, but, you know, they just want to get like a loopy feeling. But
yeah, I agree. And I think that's something that I definitely expect we'll see a change with drug regulation by the end of our lives. Because I mean, we've got all the states that are working on making recreational cannabis, which, I mean, I can see it go both ways. I can see it either as an entire nation accept that it's recreational as well, or I can also see it go to the point that there's going to start being a lot of examples where recreational use caused harm, and that we're going to go back to even stricter limitations. I mean,
how is it different than alcohol though? Like, what do you mean? Like the high feeling, or like people who are like wanting to like use alcohol just to get drunk, because like even that in and of itself is an abuse of alcohol. Like there's contexts where like alcohol is like a huge blessing, like for example like with wine, you know, like the amount of work that it takes to produce a good wine, and then like having that good quality wine with a high quality dinner, and that dinner and that wine, the flavors like mingle together, and you're having that in the context of like, you know, like having like, you know, like a social gathering with like friends and family, you know, like wine used in that context is like such a blessing. That's like such different than just like you're drinking wine, you know, just because, you know, you want to get hammered. You know, I feel like that's a different thing. I feel like there's many other uses for alcohol, like other than, you know, just getting drunk.
Agree.
Like,
I think part of it too is even like the degree. You know, getting a buzz from like alcohol could be okay, but getting drunk is kind of different.
Mm-hmm. And like for me, like I'm someone that just like can't drink like a lot of alcohol, just because like I hate the feeling that it has on my body. Like me, like if I'm gonna have something, you know, like that's gonna affect my cognitive function, I would rather have something that's going to improve my cognitive function, not, you know, like diminish it or make it difficult.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's just like the way I see it. Like I'm more someone to be like heavily using like a stimulant like caffeine that kind of like makes you more alert, or like something like a nootropic, like, you know, like on its alpha brain, or I guess MCT oil is technically a nootropic as well. But yeah, like, but you know, like when I do drink alcohol, like I'll usually like have a beer or a glass of wine, and I usually will save that towards the end of the day, because like at the end of the day, like I'm usually relaxing, unwinding, you know, like all my work is done, you know, now it's time to rest, and then wake up the next day and do it all over again, right? You know, that's when I actually prefer to drink alcohol, is when, you know, like it's relaxation time and it's the end of the day.
No, I agree. Honestly, and that's kind of even what I was talking about with buzz. I wouldn't want to like buzzed at work or something, but just being able to kind of feel a little bit better, feel a little bit less stressed, be able to focus a little bit less on all the things that you've been thinking about all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with my work, it's very easy to bring it home, so it's nice to be able to kind of remove myself from it for a bit.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So back on the subject of mental health, if there's anybody who is listening to this, who's watching this right now, that's, you know, battling depression or is battling suicidal thoughts, is there any advice that you would give to that person, as someone who's kind of gone through those same things as well? You know, like what could you say to that person that you think would probably help them out as well, and this, like something that helped you that could potentially help them as well?
I would say seek help. I mean, I know it's generic, but the reality is that don't trust yourself. Because it's a weird thing to say, but don't trust yourself, because the reality is the average person thinks, like, why wouldn't you trust yourself? You're the only person that you know you can trust. Whereas someone who's depressed, you can't even trust yourself, because what you're thinking and what you're processing and what you're doing is through a clouded mind. Like, to you it makes sense to cut, to you it makes sense to consider suicide, to you it makes sense to end it, but the reality is that's not how it should be. And that even though it makes logical sense in that mindset, you're going to look back at it, if you go through treatment and if you go through getting better, you're going to go look back at yourself and you're such an idiot. And that's one of the reasons I'm comfortable talking about it, is like I still associate with it. Like I still have constant reminders of my depression, but
right. But you're someone that's kind of like gone through like a really, really low point, and you've made it to the other side, and the grass is greener on like the other side of this pasture almost, right?
Right.
Like you've made it through the tunnel, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and it wasn't an oncoming train.
Right.
That sort of thing. Okay.
So it's just, it's very important to understand that, like, if you're in that situation, seek help, whether it be a family friend, teacher, coworker, counselor would be the best, but if not, stranger, hell, I personally, I've talked to a lot of people from depression. I've talked people out of suicide. You deal with it.
I've done the same thing as well. Yeah.
So it's just one of those, talk to people. You'd be surprised how many people deal with it. And I mean, if not depression, you'd be surprised how many people have some kind of mental health issue that need to reach out to them. So I would just say, reach out. And if the first person doesn't work, try again. Doesn't matter.
Right, just keep on trying, keep on seeking help. You know, just go to like one person and go to like one place and then just be like, oh, that doesn't work. Like, keep on seeking help. That's good.
Exactly.
We're going to end the podcast on that note. I don't like ending the podcast on kind of like a sad note or like a serious note, but like if there's any place to end it, I think it would be good right there. Like, seek help. Seek help. If you're battling depression, if you're battling suicidal thoughts, if you're in crisis, seek help. Awesome.
Absolutely.
This was a really good show. We did 2.5 hours, and I feel like this is 2.5 hours of incredible conversation.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on.
So
yeah, that absolutely. So Dull in the Head. You can check out his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DulleInTheHead, DulleInTheHead. He's not actually dull in the head. He's a pretty smart guy, as you could tell from this podcast. Pretty knowledgeable, pretty intelligent. He's seen and done quite a few things. You can also check out his Twitter as well. Like, his Twitter could use some love as well. It's spelled the exact same way as it is on his Twitch. Yeah, is there... Oh, yeah, you can also check out Dark Mood Gaming as well on Twitch and Discord as well. That's another place. Am I missing anything?
No, I think you're fine.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much.
And then also December 31st, if you guys haven't known, my band Safirio will be playing the New Year's Evil show at the Dark Horse Bar in Missoula, Montana. So if you're in that area, you should totally come by and say, hey, this show starts at 8 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. I'm going to be streaming my band set on this Twitch channel, so keep it locked in here, twitch.tv/CalvinistYugi. That's when the show is going to happen. I'm not sure what time yet, but... I expect it to happen on that date, sometime that day. But if you want to, I'm only streaming my band set, so if you want to see the other bands play, you actually have to come to Missoula and watch them play. You know, Blessed Doom, Chaos Clarity, those guys, they're super awesome. If you're a metalhead, that's the place to go to. Let's see here. MP3 versions of the podcast are available on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Shenanigans Festival. The first episode with Kobe Cat, that's up there right now. I'm still working on episode 2, and then obviously episode 3. This episode will be on there as well. SoundCloud.com/Shenanigans Festival. It'll be on other podcast catchers eventually, but as of right now, that's the exclusive home for the MP3 version of the podcast. Sometime next week, I'll be having Sun, who is a flex DPS player for the Overwatch Contenders team, NA team, Sky Foxes. We were originally supposed to do Sunday, and then some things got switched around. It was originally supposed to be Sunday at 2 p.m., but that got postponed. We're kind of shooting for around sometime later next week, but yeah, expect that to happen. That's going to be an amazing show. But yeah, I think that's it.
Think so.
Cool.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, you too. Wait, hold on. Don't leave yet.
Not
I
leaving.
forgot to do a thing. And then we should probably raid someone as well. Who should we raid?
Whoever you want.
Whoever I want to. Oh boy, you're giving me free reign. That's scary. That is some scary stuff. Let's see. Alright, hold on. There's that. Here, let's look this up. I'm sorry about the dead air, guys. Like, I can't type and then, like, talk at the same time. I need to get better at that. If I'm going to keep on doing this podcast, I need to get better at that.
That's when you just start humming.
Right. Life could be a dream. From paradise up above. Blah, 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 blah. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Okay, Michael 3D. He's an Overwatch streamer. He used to play for Team Selfless with DeFran and Emong. We should probably feel free to post my Discord when you have these, by the way. Oh, yes. Yes, I could definitely do that. But yeah, Michael 3D. We're gonna raid him. We're gonna do it.
Sweet.
All right, I'm gonna drop his link in the Twitch, in the Twitch chat. Yeah, Michael 3D TV. That is his name. He's an awesome guy. Great. Probably one of the best Annas that I've ever seen. Like, he's a super underrated player. And he deserves to be on a team. He should be on a team. Why is he not on a team? But anyway. Here, let's actually raid him. I forgot to add the raid command. I'm clearly a professional streamer. Did it work? Invalid username? Oh my god. Twitch, I hate you.
I hate typing out the raid. They really do make that It's like a quick double click or something like that. It would be fantastic.
Right. Let's see. Did I spell that part right? I think I spelled that part right. Yeah, didn't I? Oh, I got the E and the A mixed around. Oh my god, I hate myself. What's wrong with me? Okay. Okay, perfect. Now it should be right. Okay. What? No! Come on. Oh my god. Okay. Third time's the charm. Third time is the charm. Yeah, believe. Believe. Okay, perfect. All right, now we got it right. Okay, rate him. Rate the man. He's cool. Do it. Okay, we're signing off. Thanks for guys coming on the show. MP3 version of the podcast should be on SoundCloud pretty soon. Go there. See you guys sometime next week, okay? This was good. Good talk, man. All right. All right. Have a good day, y'all. Oh, yeah. Huge pleasure. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for coming on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Have a good night, everybody. Even though it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. Take her easy. See you guys next week.